Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto graduates a year early and gets sent off to train at another village. Part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. Naruto opened his eyes as he greeted the morning sun. Today he would try for his second time at graduating. It was a little known fact that an academy student could graduate at any time an exam came up regardless of students' grades. Usually the student would only find out about this because his or her year's senior sensei would tell them because they thought the student was ready. This process usually kept students from trying to graduate too early and possibly ruining their confidence at later tries. There was also another way to limit early graduation, as it needed parental or guardian consent, but because Naruto was his own guardian, this did not apply to him. Naruto was able to find out about the early graduation when he was younger. Before he became the loud prankster he is today, Naruto was a rather quiet child, and when everyone does everything to ignore someone enough times, it becomes a conditioned response. Because of this, Naruto was able to overhear some adults talking about the subject of early graduation. At the time he did not think much of it, but when he decided that no one would ever ignore him again, he figured graduating early would make people acknowledge him. The first time Naruto signed up for the graduation exam, his teacher objected. But because there was no one who could stop Naruto, his objection was ignored, by Naruto mostly. When he actually took the exam, Naruto failed it, miserably. When Iruka saw the dejected look on Naruto's face, he could not help but think reason for the rules of early graduation were quite relevant. But true to the Naruto he showed everyone, he immediately bounced back saying that he would do better next year. And now that year was here, Naruto walked into the academy full of confidence on his face, but inside he was a nervous wreck. His bushins were substandard, his henge was still producing fish lips, and he only had about a meter range for his kawarimi. All he could really do was hope that this would be one of the times when his luck would prevail, and he would do the jutsu correctly. When he walked into his testing room, Naruto saw his two academy senseis there waiting for him. His or her own academy sensei tested each student, so Iruka and his longtime assistant Mizuki would be the ones to test him. Okay Naruto, we'll begin the test with kunai and shuriken, Iruka said. And so the test began. Naruto was tested on the basics of being a shinobi with his kunai and shuriken throwing, taijutsu, and finally the part that Naruto dreaded, ninjutsu. As Iruka watched, he hoped for Naruto to pass. Even though the QB sealed inside of Naruto was responsible for his parents' death, Iruka saw a lot of himself in the blonde boy. His kunai and shuriken are minimal at best, his taijutsu is not much better. If he can perform the bushin correctly, he may actually pass. He brought himself out of his thoughts when Naruto came back in from his break. Alright Naruto, the ninjutsu you have to perform to graduate is a bushin. Naruto gulped and thought, here goes nothing. He put his hands together and concentrated, pulling out as much chakra as he could. Bushin. A burst of smoke appeared, and instead of the 4 bushins required to graduate, there were only 2. The problem was the 2 bushins would never fool anyone. The one to Naruto's right was lying face down on the floor, missing an arm and a leg and pale in color. The one to Naruto's left had no face and was about 4 centimeters too short. Iruka blinked for a moment, then sighed. You fail again, Naruto. Iruka-sensei, Mizuki spoke up. He did make 2 bushins this time. It is an improvement since last time. Perhaps we could pass him. Naruto brightened up at the suggestion, and Iruka knew that what he would say next would crush his student. No Mizuki, we cannot allow Naruto to graduate. The bushins must be good enough to fool an enemy, and as you can, these will never fool an enemy. My judgment stands. Iruka left after that. To an outsider it would look very cruel, but Iruka just could not stand to see Naruto's face after his judgment. A few hours later, Naruto was walking away from the academy going to his favorite, and subsequently only place that would allow him to eat there, restaurant, Iruka Ramen. On his way, Naruto bumped into Mizuki. Hey Naruto, don't let what Iruka said get you down. Oh, don't worry Mizuki-sensei, Naruto said, putting on a smile. There is no way I'll fail next time. And then I'll prove to everyone I can fulfill my dream. You really wanted to graduate, huh? Mizuki said. Naruto nodded with enthusiastically. Well, this is not normally done, but there is a way for you to graduate. But it must be done tonight. Mizuki watched as Naruto's face brightened, with the Hokage out of the village visiting Kiri. I'll never get another opportunity like this again. And even if the demon fails, it'll be executed for trying to steal the scroll of forbidden seals. What do I have to do, Mizuki-sensei? Asked an excited Naruto. Well, all you have to do is take a scroll from the Hokage's residence, and learn the techniques in that scroll. It's located. Mizuki went on to explain just how to reach scroll of forbidden seals. At his house, Iruka was thinking about what had happened as few hours ago. I'm sorry Naruto. But you have another year to learn what you need to learn. I'll help you pass next time for sure. A sudden pounding on his door brought him out of his thoughts. When he answered the door, Mizuki was there waiting for him, panting from exertion. Mizuki, what are you doing here? Iruka, Mizuki responded. The council has just called for a village-wide search. Why? Iruka inquired. Naruto was able to sneak into the Hokage's residence and steal the scroll of forbidden seals. What? Iruka was beside himself after that. Does anyone know why? No, Mizuki answered. Alright, Iruka said. I'll join in the search. Out in the forest, Naruto just fell back into a seated position. Alright, the second one learned. I wonder why it was easier to learn that one than it was Kage before Naruto to finish. A person dropped down beside him and slammed him on the head. Idiot! Iruka shouted after he hit Naruto on the head. Just what do you think you're doing stealing that scroll, eh? Naruto rubbed his head in confusion and pain. But I was told that if I took the scroll and learned some of the jutsus I could graduate. He then jumped to his feet, and I was able to learn 2 of the jutsus. Just watch me do them, and you'll have to pass me. Wait. Iruka was even more confused. Who told you to stealing that scroll would allow you to pass? Mizuki-sensei did, Naruto answered. So are you going to? Naruto never finished his question as he was pushed down. When he looked up he saw Iruka over him with a pained look on his face. That was surprising. Mizuki dropped down from the trees. To think you would protect him of all people. Naruto, run! Iruka ordered. That scroll is the Forbidden Seal's scroll of the village. It's very dangerous and Mizuki must not get it. Naruto, frozen in fear, did not move once. Go! The shout brought Naruto out of his trance, and he bolted from the scene. Mizuki tried to intercept him, but Iruka threw some kunai to distract him. Why are you trying to save him? Mizuki asked. After all, it was him that killed you parents. He is the Kyuubi after all. Unknown to them, Naruto was still within hearing distance and was listening in on them. Kyuubi? Wasn't it killed? Naruto whispered. What are they talking about? It must have been sickening to watch over the thing that killed your parents for the past few years. Mizuki was gloating over the fallen Iruka. In fact, you should thank me in a way. After I'm done killing you, I'll kill the demon for you, and as payment I'll take the scroll of Forbidden Seals as my own. I admit I hated the idea of watching over what killed my parents, the Kyuubi, and the Hokage for ordering me to. Iruka lowered his eyes. So what he said was true, Naruto thought, falling even more into depression. Even Iruka-sensei hates me. Naruto was about to leave when Iruka continued. But you know, Iruka said. After watching him for so long, I've come to realize something. He's not the Kyuubi at all, and the Hokage was not forcing me to watch it. He was assigning me to watch over a fellow orphan that needed a friend. And if you think I'm going to let you hurt him. Iruka lunged at Mizuki only to stumble and fall flat on his face. What happened? Oh, that would be the paralyzing solution I put on the kunais you were hit with, Mizuki said. Now to kill you and then track down and kill that demon. Mizuki was about to stab Iruka when a burst of orange collided with Mizuki, knocking back 3 meters. Don't touch him, Naruto spoke with a stern voice. You do and I'll kill you, like you could, demon, Mizuki said. I could crush you with one blow. Then why don't you just try? Naruto yelled. Have it your way. Mizuki yelled back. Mizuki charged faster than Iruka could follow because of the drug in his system. All he heard was the horrifying sound of metal stabbing into flesh with and the coughing of blood. Naruto! Iruka called. But to both Chunins were surprised, and Naruto in front of them disappeared. A Kagebushin? Iruka wondered. Then where is? Naruto's voice signaled his location. That was the first jutsu I learned, here's the second. He made 4 quick hand seals, then raised his hands up and separated them, saying, Ramen Oru. Electricity started to gather in between his hands. Naruto then threw it at Mizuki to fast form him to dodge. Ah! Mizuki screamed as a small bolt of lightning struck him. He then collapsed, his body still sizzling. Naruto? Iruka asked. What? I heard what was said, Iruka-sensei, Naruto said. He then turned to his teacher with tears in his eyes. Thank you for what you said. Not liking to see his student cry, Iruka thought of a way to cheer him up. Naruto, close your eyes, Iruka said. I have something for you. Naruto did as instructed and felt Iruka take his goggles off his head and put something on in their place. He reached up and felt a metal plate where his goggles should have been. His eyes snapped open to reveal a smiling Iruka without his forehead protector on. Where? Congratulations, you graduate. Iruka smiled as Naruto went from shock to ecstatic faster than a blink of the eye. The next thing Iruka knew, Naruto had him in a bone-crushing hug, thanking him over and over again. Come on, Naruto, we need to get back and explain everything that happened. Later that night, Iruka explained what happened to the council. There were actually 2 councils, the Council of Clan Leaders that was in charge the everyday running of the village, and the Shinobi Council, that were Sandame's former teammates, and were in charge of the village shinobi while he was away. The Shinobi Council was not happy with the news of Naruto stealing the scroll. Not really because it was Naruto that took the scroll, but that it was stolen by, at the time, an academy student. They would inform the Hokage when he got back, and he would have several words for guards that were on duty that night. After the fight was explained, they agreed that Naruto more than deserved the rank of Genin, to which he smiled brightly at their statement. He decided there that he liked the old pair just as much as he liked the Hokage. After that, the pair was dismissed and Naruto was told to go home, for tomorrow he would begin his career as a shinobi. Iruka, on the other hand, had a headache waiting to happen. He had to meet with the head instructor of the academy and inform her that Naruto had now passed, and then help with assigning the teams. The major problem was there was an even 21 graduates this year before Naruto, perfect for 3-man teams, but with Naruto as the 22nd person, that just fouled everything up. I just don't know what to do, Mai said. She was the jounin in charge of the academy. With Naruto's grades he is at the bottom of the class. But then again so is Rock Lee, Sana said. He was the senior instructor of the academy's students a year ahead of Iruka's. Because he can't use ninjutsu or genjutsu that made him fail every jutsu test. The only thing that saved him was his taijutsu. His targeting is only minimally better than Naruto's. And we already balanced the teams out. We could always apprentice Naruto out for a few months, Mai suggested. It has happened before when we had numbers like this. I don't think that will be a good idea, Iruka said. Both of you know what happened, so you know that Naruto now knows about himself. The other two nodded. He needs friends about his own age now more than ever. I couldn't agree more, Iruka, the Hokage said at the entrance. The three academy instructors stood at attention as he entered. And I think I might be able to accommodate you. The next day Naruto awoke much earlier than he usually did. He wanted to get up early and catch Sasuke and show him that he graduated a year early. Sasuke had this superior attitude over Naruto for as long as he could remember, and wanted to shove that attitude right down the Uchiha's throat. As Naruto made his way over to the training grounds he heard a rhythmic beating against wood, and went to investigate. When he got there he saw a long-haired boy kicking a training stump repeatedly. As Naruto got closer he could hear the boys counting, 432, 433, 434, 435 and continued as thus. Naruto was amazed at what this kid was doing and came up to him. Hey, why are you kicking the stump so many times? Not missing a beat, the kid said. I just graduated, 440 from the 441 Academy, 442. And need 443 to train 444 even harder now 445. So did I, Naruto said. I'm Uzumaki Naruto. The boy turned to Naruto and stopped kicking. I don't recognize you from our class. But you do have a forehead protector, so I believe you. My name is Rock Lee. He then continued to kick the stump. Well then I'll see you at the academy then, Lee, Naruto waved. Rock Lee returned the wave, not missing the count of 450. Naruto then continued on to where Sasuke trained and noticed some fresh gashes on the trees but to other side of the Uchiha. Must have just missed him. Oh well, I'll shove it in his face later then. I need to get to the academy. When Naruto arrived at the room, Iruka told him too. Naruto saw that he was a little early. The only ones there were a pale-eyed boy, that looked like that shy girl from his own year, and the long-haired boy he met this morning. Lee was glaring at the long-haired boy like Naruto did to Sasuke, but unlike Sasuke, the pale-eyed boy just had his eyes closed like he was mediating or something. He only spared Naruto a glance as he came in. Hey Lee, Naruto called, since I don't know anyone besides you, mind if I sit with you? Oh hello Naruto-san, Lee greeted. No, I don't mind. That up there is Hyuga Neji. He's this year's Rookie of the Year. Naruto looked up and said, he looks like a bastard to me. Lee could not help but laugh at this. The statement caused Neji to raise open an eye at the blonde, but he closed it once again. Another 15 minutes passed and the classroom filled up with several more recent graduates, none of which Naruto knew. When the instructor came in, again Naruto did not know him. He called out, congratulations on graduating. Now you will be teamed up into 3-man cells and begin missions. Soon 18 names were called out, leaving only 4 left: Naruto, Lee, Neji and a girl that sat next to Neji that Naruto had not paid much attention to. Now the last 4 of you are special cases. Because of the extra graduate you will receive your instructors at the Hokage office. Report to him after we are done here. Everyone in the room had confused looks on their faces, especially the 4 that were mentioned. The 4 exchanged looks for the rest of the time. As they left, the girl caught up to Naruto. So who are you and how are graduating with us if you were not in our class? Oh, and I'm Tenten. I'm Uzumaki Naruto, Naruto returned, and I actually graduated early. This caught Neji's attention. How were you able to graduate early? I'm sorry, but I'm not allowed to tell you, Naruto said. He was truly sorry. He wanted to tell everyone how he beat Mizuki, but the Hokage ordered Naruto and Iruka not to. I was ordered not to tell anyone. This only intrigued those around him more. When they arrived, they were told to go on in by the guards at the door. But not without a hateful glare sent towards Naruto. The only one that seemed to notice was Lee, and he wondered if Naruto had done something wrong. As he entered, saw the Hokage with 2 other men. One was wearing a green outfit and had a bull-style haircut. The second man was wearing a dark gray uniform and had a sword strapped to his back. When they got closer, they noticed his forehead protector did not have a spiral leaf but 4 squiggles instead. These are the 4 I told you two about, the Hokage said. Hey Ojizen, Naruto said, what did you want to tell us? His reference to the Hokage got various looks. The green-clad adult shook his head at the disrespect. The other genins looked shocked. The Hokage brushed it off, and the person with the foreign forehead protector laughed a little. I called you to tell you about the arrangement regarding your Jounin sensei, the Hokage said. Because Naruto and Lee's overall grades are the same, we cannot put you on a balanced team like we do the others. If he has the same grades as Lee, then that means Naruto was a dead last, Tenten said. Then how did he graduate early? Neji and Lee were wondering the same thing. That is not your concern, the Hokage replied. Tenten just nodded and backed away. Now for the arrangements. The 4 of you will be split up among the 2 here. He gestured to the 2 men. This is Mato Guy from here in Konoha and the other is Amaru Nezo from Kiri. This surprised the 4 genins, and before they could voice the confusion he continued. We have just signed a treaty with Kiri for better understanding between our villages. As a result, genin from both villages will be exchanged over the next year to bolster relations between the two villages. And you four have been selected. For the next few months, 2 of you will be trained in Kiri, and the other pair here. Then you will switch off. Not many genins receive this opportunity, so you should feel grateful. The genins did, whether they showed it or not. Now, turning to the 2 men, the Hokage asked, "Which do you 2 want?" Nezo spoke first. "Give me the blonde and the girl. According to the statistic you gave me, she favors weapons. She will do quite well in Kiri. And the boy," he paused and looked into Naruto's eyes, "I like him, and the 3rd member from Kiri will also like him." He exchanged a knowing glance with the 2 other adults. "Then I, the green beast of Konoha, will gladly take Lee and Neji," exclaimed. "Their flames of youth will benefit from me." Lee looked ecstatic about his new sensei, while Neji thought, "I'm stuck with an idiot in training." He looked over to Tenten and Naruto, and saw relieved looks on their faces, and could not help but become envious of them. "Well, if that is all?" Nezo asked, "I would like to introduce my students to their 3rd member, and be on our way." The Hokage nodded and the 3 left the building. "Your 3rd member came with me and is at the hotel we are staying at. We'll get her first." They went to the hotel and picked up a white-haired girl about Naruto and Tenten's age. "Since you know the best places to eat, why don't you pick one, and we'll get to know each other?" Before Tenten could say anything, Naruto spoke up. "Iruka ramen is the best in town." "Okay, lead the way then," Nezo said. Once there they ordered and Nezo began. "Well, let's start. I guess since we're new here we'll go first. I'm Amaru Nezo. I am one of the 7 swordsmen of Kiri, and I like to paint, and don't like missing nines." The white-haired girl went next. "I am Yuki. I like water and the winter. I dislike how people look at me, and I want to be one of the 7 swordsmen of Kiri." Tenten went next as Naruto was already ordering his 3rd bowl. "My name is Yamana Tenten. I like weapons of all kinds and Neji from my class. I don't hate anything really, and I want to be as strong as the legendary Tsunadeheim." Slurping up his ramen, Naruto began. "I'm Uzumaki Naruto. I like ramen of all types." "I kind of got that," Nezo said, looking at the 7 bowls high stack. Naruto smiled and continued. "I dislike waiting for ramen." This earned him a laugh from everyone there, including the chef. "And my dream is to be the Hokage so that everyone will acknowledge me." "High aspirations, all of you," Nezo said. "It will require a lot of work, but that is why I'm here. Now you 2, pointing to Naruto and Tenten, return home and pack, for tomorrow we leave for Kiri." He looked around for a minute and then said, "We'll meet here at 8 o'clock. The next day everyone met once again at the ramen stand and then left for the gates. When they were about to leave, the 2 from Konoha turned back with one last look at their home. "Don't worry," Nezo said. "You'll see it again in a few months." And with that the 4 people left Konoha. A year had passed and Naruto continued to go back and forth between Kiri and Konoha. During that time Naruto got to know a lot about the people that were around him most of the time. He found out why Nezo hated missing nines. It turns out that 2 of his fellow 7 swordsmen abandoned Kiri and committed crimes against the village several years ago. And as a result Nezo felt that it was an insult to the village and the friendship the 7 swordsmen had. Nezo had sworn that he would someday find the traitors and they would pay for the crimes they committed. Naruto also learned about his fellow genins. He learned that the reason Lee could never ninjutsu or genjutsu was that Lee for some reason only had half the chakra opening that a normal person did. This resulted in Lee being forced to concentrate solely on taijutsu. With Guy as his primary sensei and his trips to Kiri, he had developed his skills enough that they could rival that of many Chunins in both villages. The 2 groups technically had 2 senseis, one in Konoha, Guy, and one in Kiri, Noza. Naruto also found out about Neji's curse seal as well. On day when the 2 were sparring, Naruto was able to knock of Neji's forehead protector and at the mark on his forehead. Neji at the time took offense to the act and attacked Naruto rather viciously. This resulted in Naruto being put in the hospital for a day. During that day Neji, for some reason, probably Tenten's prodding, came and explained his situation. When Neji started to go on about destiny, Naruto himself lost it because of his own fate. At that time he surprised Neji by punching Neji in the face, nearly breaking the Hyuga's jaw. Neji, never being hit that hard by a fellow genin, was shocked enough to listen when Naruto started to tell him about certain events from his own past. Even how he graduated early, carefully omitting the part about Kyubi. That seemed to be the jolt Neji needed to reconsider his view of the world. Since that day he would at least be more hospitable to his teammates. The 2 that Naruto learned the most about, however, were his teammates. He learned why Tenten liked weapons so much was that his father was one of the village blacksmiths before he died when she was little. Tenten told him that some of the best memories she had her father was her visiting him as he worked on the various weapons for the shinobi of the village. What he learned about Yuki, however, shocked him to his very core. He learned that she too had a demon sealed in her, and though it was not one of the 9 great beasts like what he had, it still brought her nothing but misery and hate from people around her. The 2 found a kindred soul with each other, and became as close as siblings. The training Naruto went through was also very unique. It was discovered early by his primary Jounin sensei that Naruto learned best by experience, and once you showed him how to do something he would be able to get it rather quickly, and then modifying them to suit his purposes. For this Nezo started to show Naruto the basics of kenjutsu, and Guy taught him some taijutsu. The result was Naruto coming up with kenjutsu and taijutsu styles that were entirely his own. It was also discovered that Naruto had an affinity for high-level and even forbidden jutsus, as his body would recover quickly enough from the damage done by them. So most of his skills were listed as top secret by both villages. So if one were to look up his statistics, it would either show his academy record, very low, or nothing but question marks. The missions that Naruto and his, often rotating, teammates were on became predominantly C-class missions escorting various caravans between the two villages, as they would more times than not know better shortcuts than any others because their situation. It was during one of these missions that Naruto was able to tap into Kyuubi's chakra. The mission had been a C rank, and Noza had faith that his team was more than capable enough to go on their own. They would have been fine if it were not for the fact that a missing Iwa Nin had taken over a local gang of bandits. He proved to be too strong for the Genin to handle, and as a result the missing Nin severely injured some Yuki and Tenten. Seeing his friends hurt, Naruto became enraged and pushed the blocks of the seal and pulled out Kyuubi's chakra. To which point the missing Nin could no longer keep up and was beaten by Naruto. Once again, because of the unique nature of Naruto's situations, the records of this incident was made top secret. At this time Naruto was once again in Kiri with his primary team, Yuki, Tenten and Noza. They were currently having a 3-on-1 sparring match using their swords. Naruto was using a curved wide-bladed sword, the sword that was common in Kiri. He liked the weight and heave slashes it required. Yuki was using a kodachi as it was perfect for her height. Tenten was using 2 wakasashis as she used her swords to get in close, while she used her many throwing weapons to fight at long range. Nezo was using his personal sword, the Suisho Yaiba, crystal edge, named for the long straight blade made out of solid crystal, making it near unbreakable. Even 3-on-1 the Genins were no match for member of the 7 swordsmen. Tenten came in with a double slash, which Noza countered easily and threw her back into Naruto while tripping Yuki as she tried to dodge his swing. The trip also sent her back into the other two, making them look to be in a rather compromising situation. Now that is an interesting position, Noza joked. Careful Naruto, you don't want to friendly with them. Noza-sensei! Came 3 embarrassed voices. This only caused Noza to laugh very hard. That does it! Tenten screamed. You're paying Naruto's bill at the Iruka the next time we're back in Konoha. This immediately shut the Jounin up. Naruto's bills were legendary, and even Jounins could have trouble paying one of Naruto's binges. And if he ever thought of running out on the tab, the Genins would just have the bills sent directly to his house. And if it was one thing ninjas did fear, it was the dreaded bill collectors. No matter how far you ran, they would always find you. Alright, Noza waved frantically, the joke is done. No need for threats. Seeing Tenten relent, Noza relaxed. Okay people, this is the last time we'll be training here for a couple of months. The Chunin exam is coming up soon, and it will be held in Konoha. And you 3 along with Neji, Lee and Korra are going to take it. The Hokage and the Mizuki want all you in Konoha for the last couple of months. You all should be very proud for your accomplishments this past year. It has been a year, hasn't it? Naruto said. I almost forgot. He then thought for a minute. I never did shove the fact that I graduated a year early down that bastard's throat. He then looked at Noza-sensei. Will we be back in time for the Genin exams? Why are you asking, Naruto? Yuki asked. Do you have a girl in your old class you want to see? The joking around between their team is one of the things that made them so good together, so everyone made jokes every now and then. What they were not expecting was for Naruto to answer seriously. Yeah, actually. He blushed a little while thinking about Sakura. I thought all the girls in your class were obsessed with that Uchiha, Tenten said. Well, last I saw her she did still have a thing for that bastard, Naruto admitted. Why would you want to go out with a pathetic fangirl? Tenten asked. This coming from the president of the Neji fan club? Naruto smirked. Tenten had no reply for that, causing Yuki and Noza to laugh at their Konoha friends. After he finished laughing, Noza said, and to your earlier question, yes. God wants you 3 back to test your growth. Though I think he just wants to try and up his eternal rival. We'll leave in the morning so you have the rest of the day off. His students nodded and left. The next day Naruto and his team were on their way to Konoha via ship. Because Water Country was an island of the mainland, they had to travel half the distance by boat. Yuki always liked the view of the water. It probably had to do with the water demon she held. After 2 days sailing they arrived on the mainland and made their way west to Konoha. When they arrived, the Chunin guards at the gates greeted them after a quick check of their identifications, and they entered the village. We need to see the Hokage first, and then you can have the next few days off to rest up before we do some missions. A couple of hours later Naruto was visiting the first person he befriended. Hey Iruka-sensei, how have you been? Naruto greeted while coming into the classroom. It was after hours, so only Iruka was present in the room. Oh Naruto, when did you get back? Iruka asked. Just a few hours ago, Naruto answered. So what are you doing? Just going over some papers that need to be graded, Iruka said. In fact, I'm a little backed up because of the up and coming Genin exams, so I can't spend time with you right now. But if you're willing, I'll treat you to one bowl of ramen later. Sure thing, Iruka-sensei, Naruto said. I'll see you later then. I'm going to wander around for a bit. As Naruto was walking around, he heard the familiar sound of kunai and shuriken hitting multiple targets. Yielding to curiosity, Naruto followed the sound. He took to the trees to avoid both detecting and lessen the chance of getting hit by a stray kunai. When he was close enough, he saw an old classmate and rival hitting the target with his weapons. He was about to jump down when he felt that there were other people in the area. Focusing his senses, he found them to be behind Sasuke, watching him intently. Must be some of his fangirls, Naruto thought. Maybe now it's a good time to show them that bastard isn't as good as he thinks he is. With this though, Naruto dropped down from the tree and made his way to Sasuke's right. He silently waited for the right moment before he yelled, "Hey bastard!" The sudden noise caused Sasuke to let go of his shuriken too early and made the projectiles fly way off course. Looking in the direction of the voice, Sasuke glared when he saw who it was. "What do you want, Yamaru? Drop out," Sasuke asked. "Yamaru, who are you calling that bastard?" Naruto asked. "Are you too stupid to realize that you haven't been to school in over a year?" Sasuke was trying to get back at Naruto for making him miss. In reality though, he was mad that someone not even at the academy anymore caught him off guard. "Are you blind as well as stupid?" Naruto said, gesturing to his forehead where its protector was positioned. "I've been an active genin for almost a year now." Sasuke was stunned by the revelation. So stunned in fact that he did not believe it. "It's a crime to wear a forehead protector when you're not a shinobi, Yamaru." "I guess you are stupid then," Naruto said. "Or do you want to test to see if I'm telling the truth?" Naruto dropped into his own ready stance. He was crouched low, arms crossed over one another with his hands like claws. "You're not worth my time," Sasuke scoffed. "However, I will save you from being thrown in prison for wearing that." Sasuke being too arrogant to realize that Naruto had no openings in his guard, a clear indication of a well-trained and experienced fighter, rushed at him. Naruto, easily seeing the attack, effortlessly caught the punch. "You have to move a lot faster than that if you want to hit me, Sasuke." Naruto then pulled the arm to him, twisted around and swept Sasuke to the ground. Naruto let go of his arm and jumped back. "So now do you think I'm worth your time, loser?" Sasuke was furious. How could someone like Naruto do that to him? "Enough going easy on you." "Oh, so you weren't trying before?" Naruto smirked. "I thought you were moving a bit slow." With that, Naruto vanished from Sasuke's sight and appeared right behind him. Naruto had become very quick thanks to this training with Guy, but he did this just to show off. Sasuke spun around only to see that Naruto vanished again. "Oh, sorry Neji, I was just having some fun," Naruto said, gesturing to Sasuke. "Why are you wasting your time with such a weakling?" Neji asked. "Old times, Sasuke," Naruto smiled. "Well, see you, loser." Naruto then walked off with Neji, leaving a very angry Sasuke. When they were far enough away, Neji said, "So that was this year's Rookie of the Year?" Neji glanced back at the Sasuke. "He's weaker than he knows." "Yeah, I know," Naruto said. "He didn't even know I was there until I yelled into his ears." "He's probably so pissed now that he knows a person that he thought was so below him is now so much better. He needs to get a lot faster if he ever hopes of matching you," Neji commented. "Even if he activates his Sharingan, he would not be able to catch you. Digitsus are useless against you ever since you created Chakra Pulse." Speaking from experience, Neji-san, Lee greeted. "You still hate it when you spar with him." "Yeah, well, just like Noza Sensei said, the greatest advantage can be the greatest weakness," Naruto quoted. After continued beatings by Neji with his Byakugan, Naruto came up with a way to defeat the enhanced sight by using its own advantage as a disadvantage. All the jutsu does is create a blight flash of light. But if you have a digitsu like Neji, the sudden flash of light severely hurts the eyes, creating an opening for Naruto to strike. "So what did Guy-sensei need?" "Nothing," Neji said. "I just wanted to ruin your fun." Neji did not make jokes all that often, but he did make some. But those few jokes were only with people he feels close enough to, his primary and secondary teammates. "Spoil sport," Naruto retorts. Back at the clearing, Sasuke had long left. And normally the two that were watching the Uchiha would have chased after him. But this time they were stunned by the fact that the person they thought left the academy a year ago showed back up as a full-fledged ninja and completely outclassed their obsession. "I can't believe that Naruto was capable of that," Ino said. "Well, Sasuke-kun was just holding back, you heard him," Sakura said. "There's no way that idiot could really beat Sasuke-kun." "Are you kidding?" Ino said. "He just did. Naruto moved so fast that I couldn't even see him move those last 2 times. And that other guy, the one that looked like Hinata, called Sasuke-kun a weakling. I think that was Hyuga Neji, last year's Rookie of the Year. And from what he said, it looks like they're on the same team." "Then Naruto was telling the truth," Sakura said. "He did graduate a year ago." "But how?" "I think Iruka-sensei might know," Ino said. She remembered Iruka not even reacting to Naruto's absence over the year. And if the rumors were true, Naruto was Iruka's favorite student. "Favorite student?" Ino said. "What was that?" Sakura asked. "The rumors were that Naruto was Iruka's favorite student," Ino said. "I bet he allowed him to graduate early just because of that." "I don't know," Sakura said. "Iruka-sensei is not known for giving anyone a free ride, not even Sasuke-kun." "So do you want to go find out?" Ino asked. "This is kind of interesting." "Well, since Sasuke-kun is gone, I have nothing better to do," Sakura said. A few minutes later, the two girls arrived at the academy only to see Sasuke going inside ahead of them. Apparently he wanted to know if Naruto was telling the truth, although his strength should have spoken for itself. Seeing the Uchiha made the two forget their previous concerns and both race try and catch him first. Inside his classroom, Iruka was just finishing up the last of his work and was preparing to leave when this year's #1 rookie. From the look on Sasuke's face, Iruka could feel a headache coming on. If that idiot was allowed to graduate early, why wasn't I? Yep, definite headache, Iruka thought. And which idiot would that be? Although he had a rather good idea about whom Sasuke was talking about. The one everyone thought dropped out, Sasuke said. I figured it would be Naruto. I guess he finally found enough time to find Sasuke, he thought. If you mean Naruto, then, he was able to graduate because he signed up for the graduation and demonstrated the necessary skills to be a Genin, Iruka answered. Then silently added, and probably a Chunin as well with those jutsus in combination. I wonder how strong he's gotten? And as to the other half of your question, you of all people should have known that people could graduate early. Iruka knew it was a low blow, but he did not like the last Uchiha's attitude towards those around him. In his honest opinion, the Uchiha right now would just get his teammates killed. Sasuke had no argument for that. After all, he knew for a long time that his brother graduated much earlier than most. But at this time he was rather angry with Iruka for mentioning it. That doesn't explain why I wasn't told. Always about you, Iruka thought. You weren't told because we thought you already knew. Now if you will excuse me, I have a meeting to get to. Iruka then got up, not giving the Uchiha a chance to object. As he opened the door, he bumped into the Sakura and Ino. He looked them over once, figuring that they were following Sasuke like they usually did, and left. Naruto was currently having a sparring match with Lee. The two former dead lasts were fighting on equal terms, but that was only because Naruto was using several Kage Bushins to make Lee fight multiple targets at once. Lee was easily the fastest out of the joint village teams, with Naruto second and Neji just behind him. Neji had the fastest reaction time and the highest precision, followed by Lee and then Naruto. Naruto had the greatest brute force and stamina, followed by Lee and then Neji. All in all, the three were actually pretty even. There was an argument among those that knew them, which was actually stronger. In reality, if they ever got serious, no one would leave unharmed. Especially if they were to use their strongest moves. Hey Neji, one of the Narutos called out. What time is it? Close to 5, Neji answered. Oh crap, all 5 Narutos said. Sorry Lee, I've got to meet Iruka-sensei for ramen. With that he dispersed the clones and ran off. After he left, Neji dropped down to take his turn at the sparring. At the ramen shop, Iruka was surprised to see he was actually there first. He sat down and went ahead and ordered his bowl and waited. No sooner than the bowl came did Naruto sit down next to him. What took you so long? You're usually here long before I am. I was sparring with Lee, Naruto answered. He gets rather involved with his training. Naruto then ordered the bowl that Iruka promised to pay and started to devour it. Iruka was about halfway through his bowl when he mentioned, Sasuke found out your early graduation. I know, I told him, Naruto said, beginning his third bowl. Let me guess, he was pissed, right? To say the least, Iruka said. But you should know that you shouldn't fight with academy students. Yeah, I know, Naruto said. But he really needed to get his ass kicked. Then you should have waited until after he became a Genin, Iruka said. They continued to talk about what Naruto had been up to since his last time in Konoha. Naruto relayed the events as only he could, a lot of expressions and a bit of over-exaggerations. After the meal, the two parted ways and went home. A couple of days later, after the Genin exam, Naruto was going to the Hokage office to meet with his team to see what kind of mission they had. Normally they were given some of the mid to high C-rank missions because of their experience, but occasionally the Hokage and Mizuki would give them a D-rank mission just to let them know that they are still Genins. Naruto hated D-rank mission. In his opinion, they should be given to academy students instead of shinobi. As he came to the building, Naruto saw Guy and a silvered-haired Jounin standing face to face. That could only mean Guy and Kakashi were about to have another one of their duels. This time Guy lost and Kakashi walked off without a care in the world. When Naruto arrived, Guy was about to start his self-punishment when he interrupted him. Guy-sensei, don't we need to check what missions we have? It was Naruto, Yuki and Tenten's turn in the rotation to be under Guy's instruction. Oh right, you are Naruto, Guy said. Let's go see what our great Sandaime has for us. The two entered the building and immediately went to the mission assignment room. When they entered, they met the Hokage and some Chunin assistant. Naruto then walked off to join Yuki and Tenten up to the side. How long have you been waiting? Not long, Naruto, Yuki said. In fact, we came with Guy-sensei. We just went on ahead when we saw Kakashi. Since you two came in just after, I assume Guy won the duel, Tenten said. No, I just stopped him before he got started, Naruto said. He looked back at the Hokage and Jounin. The Hokage just handed a scroll to Guy, and Guy was going on and on about something. Looks like he's going to be a while. Want to get something from the snack machine? The two girls gave a shrug and they went to get something to eat. When they got back, Guy had just ended his speech and was making his way over to them. Our glorious Hokage has honored us with a C-rank mission, Guy said. We are to deliver supplies to one of the outposts at the border with Wind Country. Tenten and Naruto nodded in agreement, thanking the kami it was not another D-rank mission. Yuki, however, sighed. I hate the desert. The mission was simple enough to complete. Deliver supplies to the outposts at the wind/fire border. If it were not for the distance, the mission would have been a D-rank mission. The distance left the possibility for attack open. This is only reason it was a C-rank mission, because there was no real emergency, and thus no real rush. The team at first took their time. That was until Guy started one of his speeches that only Lee ever enjoyed. That was when the genin decided that they would pick up the pace just to get away from their unusual teacher. It was not the fact that the three did not like Guy. In fact, they thought he was a great sensei and good guy. It was just that there was only so much time they could deal with him before they wanted to knock him out just to get some peace and quiet. So because of the increased pace, the team of 4 made it to the first outpost in about a day and a half. After they arrived, the people there were at first glad to see someone new. Border detail was one of the most isolated and boring duties there was. However, when they saw Naruto as part of the group, they made it clear that they did not want them there for long. Even after a year as an active genin, there were still only a handful of people that treated Naruto as a human. Yuki, having a similar past, was able to sympathize with the blonde and would understandingly help him as best she could. Tenten, not knowing the full story but still seeing the glares, would also help but could only do so much without knowing fully why. Guy would be less overbearing and would return the glares, making many of the less skilled cringe in fear. After dropping off the supplies at the first outpost, they quickly made their way to the 2 others they were assigned to supply. After 2 weeks away, the team returned to the village. Naruto went back to his usual self. There they learned from various people which of the genin that passed the exam and the subsequent trial by their Jounin sensei. Naruto and his 5 rotating teammates actually lucked out and did not have to take the trial because of the joint village agreement. But it was clear by all that they would have passed anyway. Even at the beginning, their skills complemented each other well. The teams also learned that Kakashi finally passed his first team. It was no surprise that Sasuke would be on that team because Kakashi was the only one in the village with a Sharingan. It kind of made them sick to their stomach that the Uchiha was already becoming the talk of the village, especially since he and his team had not done any real missions as of yet to begin with. All he did was pass the genin exam. You would think that he made Jounin already the way they're acting, Naruto complained. The village tends to idolize geniuses, Lee said, especially survivors. Maybe I should go trounce him again, Naruto said. You shouldn't waste your time, Korra said. The village will either see that he's not worth all their hype, or they will be too stupid to realize he's weak because of his arrogance. Besides, everyone in Kiri is talking about you guys, the Konoha nins that could become members of the 7 Swordsmen. Just imagine the looks on everyone's faces if that happened. It would probably be the same look Guy-sensei and the Hokage got when they asked Naruto to show them his latest jutsu, and he showed them Oryoku no Jutsu, Neji said. Most of them laughed at the memory of the Hokage on the ground twitching with blood coming out of his nose. Most, that is, but the girls, they just sighed, hitting their foreheads. I still can't believe you invented that technique. Tenten said, it is so stupid. What I can't believe is that afterwards the Hokage listed it as a kenjutsu, Yuki said. Well, what else would you call a jutsu that could defeat the Hokage so easily? Naruto smiled. His comment earned him a smack on the head by Yuki, Korra, and Tenten at once. Anyway, we really need to go to the mission office, Neji said. We'll see you 3 later. With that, Neji, Yuki, and Korra left for the other 3 alone. Guy-sensei said we should train until he gets back from his mission, Lee said. What do you 2 want to do? Maybe a couple of 1,000 push-ups. Tenten and Naruto just shook their head no. Both well aware of the usual training lengths Lee did. No thanks, Lee. I think I'm going to practice my target throwing, Tenten said. And I'm going to work on my kenjutsu, Naruto said. I'll see you later. Before he got too far, Tenten called out to him. Just remember, if you're going to practice your jutsus, do it away from where people can see you. She was implying that most of Naruto's jutsus, even his quote perverted ones, were listed as kenjutsus, meaning that he could not let people know he knew that many of them. Naruto nodded and made his way out to an isolated part of the forest. For about an hour Naruto was trying to perform a kenjutsu that Noza did once and Naruto just happened to see it. The jutsu involved throwing your opponent into the air, jumping up after him and cutting him 9 times before they hit the ground. Naruto was able to get 8 of the cuts before hitting the ground but had to crash land to do it. He was able to but 6 times and land perfectly, but the 9 cuts were designed to strike all 9 areas, finishing the opponent off. With just 6 the person could still theoretically fight, but with 9 the person would be either dead or useless in a fight. This would add another jutsu to Naruto's ever-growing arsenal of lethal, or at least near-lethal jutsus. He was about to try it again by throwing another log into the air when he sensed something nearby. Feeling that he was being watched, Naruto changed training tactics and began doing simple katas with his sword. A sudden rustling of the bushes and an orange blur jumping at him, making him react by thrusting out his hand and catching the blur in mid-jump. When he saw it was an orange cat, he blinked. What is a cat doing way out here? Sensei, we have lost the target. Please advise. Naruto heard a voice from the other side of the bushes. After a few minutes he heard the same voice, understood we're searching the area. That was when a person that Naruto thought he knew came into his clearing. Sasuke-san, Sakura-san, the boy said, I am located the target. Could he mean me? Naruto thought. The 2 mentioned people entered the clearing soon after. Thank the kami, Sakura said. I hate going after that furball so many times. When she entered the clearing she saw Naruto holding their target by the scruff of its neck with a confused look on his face. What are you doing? Naruto looked at the 3 for a moment before answering. Sakura had a confused look with a little relief on her face. The boy Naruto could not quite remember had a wondering look, and Sasuke had an irritated and angry look. I was here training when this thing, gesturing with the cat, interrupted. Were you looking for it? Yes, we were, Kakashi said, making his presence known. Technically, you have interfered with my team's mission. And that would make you an obstacle we have to overcome. But because you're a fellow Konoha shinobi, we'll just say you assisted us in capturing our target. Kakashi nodded to the boy and Naruto handed it over to him. So Naruto, how have you been doing? I did not get a chance to talk after the last time you returned from Kiri. Kakashi had talked with Naruto a few times after his duels with Guy, and the two had become decent acquaintances. Oh, not too bad, Naruto said, just doing some C-rank missions mostly. I heard you finally passed the team, too bad you have the loser on it. Naruto said, looking at Sasuke. Sasuke-kun is not a loser. Sakura yelled. He lost to me, Naruto said casually. He still likes Sakura, but right now he was giving her second thoughts. Well, they have been improving, Kakashi said, but we'll have to talk later. We've got to get this cat back to its owner. Kakashi then walked off, pulling out his favorite book. The others quickly followed, but not without various looks from surprise to confused to anger before leaving. After they were gone, Naruto returned to practicing his kenjutsu. 2 days later, Guy returned and Lee, Tenten and Naruto were given another mission. This mission was odd though. They were ordered to track down and kill an animal that had been tearing through a herder's livestock in a town about a day away from Konoha. Normally this would be a higher D-rank mission, but according to the reports from the village, the animal did not seem normal to them. This vague description made the Hokage cautious and listed the mission as a mid-level C rank. When they arrived at the village, the first thing they did was meet with the herder. He was an elderly man that lived alone because his wife died and only daughter moved out many years ago. I first noticed about a week ago, the old man said. Some of my livestock was missing from the pasture and I went to find them. I found signs that it was a large dog or maybe a wolf. So set up some traps to take care of it. Not a single one worked. So then I decided to camp out at night and take care of it myself. Now I've been handling things like wolves all my life and normally I would not need the help of shinobi. But that night I changed my mind. The sky was clear so I could see fairly well because of the nearly full moon. I must have dozed off at some point because I was jarred awake by the sound of my fence breaking. When I looked up I saw something in the pins. I tried to sneak up on it, but it must have heard me, because it stopped and raised up. The old man paused, taking a drink of tea. That was when I saw it was a lot larger than a wolf. It stood almost the size of my workhorse. At that point I didn't want to wait around and left to hire some help. Which is where you come in. He then looked at the genins. You sure these kids can handle it? Yes, Guy was being unusually serious. They may be young, but they are among the most skilled genin in the village. And if not, I can take over, so you do not have to worry. The old man nodded at Guy's reassurance. Okay team, we will camp out at night and wait for this beast to show up. The genin nodded silently after seeing Guy's reaction. That night the four were camped in the field. They had no fire just in case it scared away their target. Guy-sensei? Lee asked. What kind of wolf could be the size of a horse? It is probably a large wolf, but not the size of a horse, Guy said. Remember, it was dark and the old man looks like he needs glasses. So he could have been exaggerating. This seemed to quell some of the anxiety the genins had, but Guy was still worried, though he did not show it. There was something that felt wrong about this. A couple of hours later the four ninjas heard a rustling in some bushes at the edge of the field. Using their best stealth skills they made their way closer to the bushes, making sure they stayed downwind. As they got closer they saw a shadow in the shape of a large wolf come into the field. When the genin saw it they were relieved because it was like what Guy said. It was larger than a normal wolf but nowhere near the size the old man described. Their relief was short-lived, however, when two more very similar shadows emerged. These two were just as big as the other, and knowing how well wolves work together made the danger increase significantly. Okay, here's the plan, Guy whispered. Tenten, Lee and I will try to separate the three. Naruto, you will follow up behind us and try to take them out one at a time. The genins nodded in understanding. His three teammates left Naruto and attacked the wolves. Tenten throwing multiple kunai and shuriken at them while Guy and Lee attacked with taijutsu. This had the desired effect as two of the wolves went after the three, leaving the third behind. That doesn't seem like a typical wolf, Naruto thought. He quickly went to where he was in range of his jutsus. He did some quick hand seals saying, Ramen Oro. The wolf did something rather unexpected then. It dodged the jutsu, defiantly, not a typical wolf, Naruto thought. The wolf then looked at Naruto for a minute, then rushed towards him. As it approached, Naruto's eyes went wide as the wolf appeared to grow in size as it charged. By the time it reached Naruto it was the size of what the old man described. If Naruto were not so stunned by the growth he would have probably had time to counterattack. However, because of the surprise, Naruto was only able to react by bringing his right arm up just as the huge wolf snapped at his neck. Aha! Naruto's yell of pain filled the night. Gritting his teeth, Naruto desperately reached for his kunai pouch as he was on his back and he could not reach his sword. After he fished out his kunai, Naruto jammed it into the beast's eye. This time it was the painful howl of the wolf that filled the night. It then let go of Naruto's arm and jumped back. Quickly Naruto got to his feet and reached for his sword. It was then he noticed that the size was not the only thing strange about this wolf. This wolf had several green scales on his head and running down its back. "What the hell is that?" Naruto whispered. The creator, as Naruto now thought of it as, began to growl and looked like it was about to attack. Naruto knew that he could not do jutsus with his right arm injured so severely. That meant he had to rely on his taijutsu and kenjutsu. The beast then charged once again. This time Naruto was ready and brought his sword up and slashed it across the head. Unfortunately for Naruto, the scales deflected the slash and Naruto was once again knocked to the ground. This time Naruto was not bitten as the beast just loomed over him. That was until it suddenly jumped away as if afraid of something. That was when Naruto saw a blur out of his left eye and suddenly the beast howled in pain again, only this time it then fell to the ground dead. When Naruto looked up he saw a man standing a meter from him. "Interesting," the man said. "You are an interesting individual." The man seemed to be boring into Naruto's soul like he could see all of his secrets. Then suddenly he leapt back and Guy was in his place. "Naruto, are you alright?" Guy asked after seeing Naruto was holding his arm to slow the bleeding. "He was bitten by that one," the strange man answered. "You should treat it soon, though he might not need it. He seems to heal very quickly." A sudden light from the full moon came across the man. He had a pale complexion, silver hair like Kakashi, but had marks on his cheeks like Naruto's, only much thicker, and there were only 2 of them. "I must apologize. I was not quick enough to prevent his injury. It was my duty to track down this pack and eliminate them before they hurt anyone." "And where are you from?" Guy asked. "I think you already know that, Mato Guy." Guy made no reaction to his name. "My name is Okamimaru Shiori. Your student is very interesting." "I thank you for aiding my student," Guy said as Tenten and Lee came up, both looking very scratched up. The other 2 were taken care of. Shiori then bowed. "I thank you for this then. Since that is the case, we are even." He then jumped into the forest, and was gone within seconds. "Sensei, who was that?" Tenen asked. He seemed strange, he felt strange. "We need to treat Naruto's wound," Guy said. At the hotel Naruto had his wound wrapped, and they were discussing what they were fighting. "Those things were not wolves, that was for sure," Naruto said. "That's obvious," Tenten said. "But the question was, what were they?" "They were Dabutsubori beast spirits," Guy answered. "This should have been a B rank. Get some sleep, tomorrow we'll head back to Konoha." The next day they 3 left thinking about what Guy said about what they fought. But more especially Guy and Naruto were thinking about the strange man that saved Naruto. They were thinking about what he said, that Naruto was interesting. "If what I think he is true, then I must inform the Hokage," Guy thought. He could be threat to Naruto, since he seems to be able to detect Naruto's differences. It only took them a day to return to Konoha. Once they arrived, Guy told the Genins that they had a few days off and went to the Hokage's office. "Hokage-sama, I need to discuss the mission my team was on." "What do you wish to discuss, Guy?" the Hokage asked. "Where is Nezo?" Guy said. "What I have to say centers on Naruto, and may or may not include Yuki in the future. He is training with the other 3, the Hokage answered. "I will send for him." A few minutes later Nezo entered with a concerned look on his face. "Is something wrong, Hokage-sama?" "Possibility," Guy answered. "On the latest mission we went on we encountered Dabutsubori. The team did fine, but that is not what concerns me. It was the man I encountered that saved Naruto from one of them. I believe he may have been a yokai from the way he acted." This caught the 2 other men off guard. "Did he detect the Kyuubi?" the Hokage asked. "I believe he did," Guy answered. "He said he was assigned to hunt the beasts, but I am not sure. When he saved Naruto he mentioned his rapid healing and that he was interesting." The Hokage thought for a minute. "What did he look like?" Guy gave the description, and what he said was his name. "For the next month your team is not to go on any missions outside the village." "What do we tell them?" Nezo asked. "They will want to know why." "I assume that you are nominating them for the Chunin exam," Sarutobi said. The 2 Jonin nodded. "Then tell them that it is to train for the exam." The 2 nodded and went to inform the 6 Genin under their joint care. "Let's hope no yokai actually take an interest in Naruto and the Kyuubi." He then looked up at the Yandame's picture. "He has grown strong, my friend. I hope you are proud." The 6 Genins were informed of the arrangement, complete with the spin that they would be taking easy missions in the village to allow for more time to train. Lee, Yuki, Sora, and Tenten seemed to accept the explanation easily enough. Neji and Naruto did not. Neji because he could detect when someone was not being completely honest, and Naruto because of the way that men was looking at him. But the 2 let the subject go at the news of the upcoming Chunin exam. For the next month the 6 Genin trained together, sharpening their skills as best they could with their 2 senseis helping them along the way. After the month passed, Nezo was walking into the administration office to see if there were any messages from the Mizuki. When he arrived he saw Kakashi just finish up his report. Oddly enough he had a large object wrapped in cloth with him. When Kakashi saw Nezo he approached and unwrapped the cloth, revealing a massive sword that Nezo knew very well. "How did you get this?" Nezo demanded. "My team was attacked by Zabuza on our latest mission," Kakashi informed him. "Zabuza was killed in a battle against his own employer, avenging his partner." "Haku," Noza said. "Zabuza always did care more for that kid than he let on." Kakashi nodded. "He died regaining his pride and honor, in my opinion." Kakashi then smiled. "The person we were hired to protect named the Bridge Protector's bridge after them of all things." I buried their bodies and brought Zabuza's sword back for you. I can understand, Noza said. I will send the sword back to Kiri, and thank you. Kakashi nodded and handed her the massive blade. Oh, how are your students doing? At first they were a little shaken up by their first real life and death mission, but they are doing very well, Kakashi said, then smiled. Sasuke was able to activate his Sharingan. I guess that would mean he could give the members of your team a good challenge. Noza returned the smile. Don't be so sure. Naruto has invented a couple of jutsus that are specially designed to counter dijutsus. I guess we'll see at the Chunin exam then, won't we? Kakashi said. A little later that week, Lee was running to meet with his 5 teammates. He had just overheard the latest news about the Chunin exam. When he arrived, Neji was mediating calmly, Tenten was throwing at multiple targets, Yuki and Naruto were sparring using their swords, and Sora was practicing a water jutsu. Did you guys hear? Lee asked. For the first time in 5 years there are rookies entering the Chunin exam. I guess that means I can kick Sasuke's ass again, Naruto said. It does seem interesting that they're entering, Neji said, then smirked. But you do have to feel sorry for them. Naruto was making a mad dash to the academy. He was late by 20 minutes and knew that his teammates, Yuki and Tenten, would kill him. After Guy and Noza had given them the entry forms for the exam, Naruto was so excited that he only got on average 6 hours sleep per night. Last night was when his body decided to catch up on some of his missed sleep. The result was that he woke up this morning an hour late. So now he had to run almost all out just to be on time. Glancing at his watch, Naruto screamed in his head, "They're going to kill me, alright." When he arrived at the academy 3 minutes later, Naruto spotted his 2 female teammates and picked up the pass for the last 100 meters. When he finally arrived, he was completely out of breath. Wheezing, he stammered out greeting. His 2 female teammates waited until he caught his breath, then whacked him on the head. "That's for being late," Tenten said. Sorry, Naruto said, rubbing his head. "Well, let's go before they close the doors," Yuki said, leading the way. Inside the building, the 3 made their way up to the 3rd floor. After a flight of stairs, Naruto and his team came to a large group of people trying to enter a room. That was when they saw that the doorway was blocked by a pair of Konoha shinobi. Everyone that tried to get past them would be pushed back. That was when they walked up and tried to get past, only to be knocked back like the others. "Let us through, I need to get to the exam room." The ones guarding the door then began a speech about how dangerous the Chunin exam was, but Naruto and his team were not listening. "Why doesn't Lee go past the genjutsu?" Naruto asked. "That's because he suggested that he, Neji, and Sora not show their true strength," Yuki said. "Oh yeah, now I remember," Naruto said. "He suggested the same thing to us. But you turned it down," Tenten said. "Why should we cover our strength? It would be an insult to our training," Naruto asked. Yuki was about to respond when she was shoved aside by 3 new genins. "Move out of the way," one of them said. Naruto turned to see that it was Sasuke. "We want to get to the 3rd floor now, so why don't you just drop the genjutsu?" Several other genins began to murmur as the genjutsu dropped. "If they didn't notice the genjutsu, then why are they taking the exam?" Yuki asked. Her teammates just shrugged. "So you noticed," the one guarding the door said. "But that doesn't prove anything." He then threw a punch at Sasuke and Sasuke went to counter. There was a sudden green blur, and Lee appeared in between the two. "So much for hiding his strength," Naruto shook his head. "I wonder why he did it." "Probably to impress that pink-haired girl," Yuki said. The other 2 turned and sure enough they saw Lee making an oath to always protect Sakura. "Careful, Naruto, Lee might just give you a run for her," Yuki jabbed. Naruto just frowned. He could not deny the fact that he still liked Sakura and did not want to open himself up to further teasing. So he just watched as Sakura adamantly shot down Lee, calling him weird. At this point, Neji showed up from the other side of the hall. "Lee, what are you doing?" "We need to get going." "Sorry, I was just excited," Lee said. "Well, come on," Neji said. As he said this, Sasuke gave a contemptuous look at Neji, recognizing him from a few months ago when he fought against Naruto. "I'll join you in a minute, I want to check on something first," Lee said before following after the retreating Team 7. At this point, Naruto's team went up and met with Neji. Upon seeing them, he asked, "Why were you 3 so late?" The response he got was the 2 girls pointing at Naruto. Neji gave Naruto an exasperated sigh. "It's not my fault, my body decided now would be the best time to catch on the sleep I missed." Neji just shook his head saying, "You had better hurry, the exam is about to start." The 2 girls began to walk off, but Naruto did not follow. When they turned and gave a questioning look, he answered, "I'm going to go make sure Lee isn't late." "I'll catch up." "Just don't be late yourself," Tenten warned. Naruto nodded vigorously in understanding. He still remembered the pain in his rear the last time she used that voice. Naruto came upon the back staircase just as Lee dropped into his stance against Sasuke. This ought to be fun to watch, Naruto thought. I can see if Bastard has improved and see if Lee has any new tricks I should be aware of. Naruto watched as the 2 exchanged a few blows with Lee coming out the clear victor. Not surprising, Naruto thought. That was when Naruto saw Sasuke's eyes go red. Lee and Sasuke rushed at each other again. This time Sasuke was able to predict Lee's moves but still could not block them. But Lee could see that he was having a bit of trouble with keeping ahead of the Uchiha. "I guess I have to use it," Lee thought. "I hope Guy-sensei doesn't hear about this." He then undid his bandages as Sasuke charged. Up on the balcony, Naruto's eyes widened when he what Lee was doing. "No, he wouldn't," Naruto thought. His fears were confirmed when Lee jumped and went to Sasuke's shadow. My abilities are pure taijutsu. Lee then paused. You know there are two types shinobi out there, he lectured, the genius type, you, and the hard-working type, me. Your Sharingan allows you to see through all jutsus, but for taijutsu you need to work hard to attain Mei level. He was about to wrap his bandages around Sasuke when he was slammed in the side. Naruto landed next to Sasuke and stalked rather angrily over to Lee. What do you think you were doing? Naruto yelled at Lee. You know you are not allowed to use it, as Team 7 looked on while Naruto was shaking Lee to emphasize his point. Sasuke was thinking, Naruto was able to get the drop on that guy when I could barely touch. Naruto is right, Lee. A voice made both boys freeze. Everyone turned to see a giant turtle was the one talking. Naruto, knowing the source of the turtle, let go of Lee and began to back away. You know you are not supposed to use it. I did not know either of you were watching, Lee said. That is no excuse, the turtle said. Now are you prepared for your punishment? Lee nodded. By this time Naruto had made it past Team 7 and was near the stairs. Then prepare, for he comes Ji-sensei. A large burst of smoke appeared and the taller version of Lee now stood on the turtle's shell. By now Naruto was running up the stairs, not wanting to see the disturbing display between Guy and Lee. Team 7 was not as lucky as Naruto as they watched the unusual hugging and crying display between the teacher and student. One thought was going through all three of their heads, Sasuke lost to these weirdos? Once they were done, Lee addressed Sasuke. I'm sorry for attacking you, Uchiha-san, but I wanted to test my skills against someone strong. And earlier I somewhat lied. I may not be the strongest genin from Konoha. There are two others, one you just saw, Naruto-kun is like me. He worked hard for his power, and the other is like you, a genius born with a strong bloodline. You should watch out for them. Lee then ran off up the stairs, leaving a confused and somewhat amazed Team 7. A few minutes later in the exam room, Naruto and Lee joined their teammates. When Lee showed up, Naruto asked, So what do you think of Sasuke? He's a true genius, Lee answered. He will be fun to fight in the exam just like you and Neji. The mentioned Uchiha then showed up with the rest of this year's genin. They were making a racket that drew the attention of everyone in the room. That was when a silver-haired genin from Konoha spoke up. You cute little rookies should watch what you say. Everyone here is nervous about the exam. And who are you? Kiba asked. My name's Kabuto, Kabuto answered. And I should tell you that this is not my first time taking the exam. It is really hard, and if you are not careful you could wind up dead. Is this your second time taking the exam? Sakura asked. No, this is my 7th time, Kabuto answered. The exam is given twice a year, so this is my 4th year. He then reached into his pouch. Tell you what, I'll share with you my Nin info cards. They give me information on every genin taking this exam. Sasuke took interest in this part. Do you have information of Gaara of the Desert, Rock Lee and Uzumaki Naruto? Sasuke had run into Gaara and his team yesterday. He felt the strong aura from Gaara and wanted to know more. Kabuto flipped through the stack of cards until he came to Gaara's card. I don't have much information on his skills because this is the first time he's taking the exam and from another village. The only information I have is his mission history, 7 D rank, 8 C rank, and what's this, a B rank. Rather impressive. Those around him could not help but nod. It also says that he came back from all his missions without a scratch. Interesting. Now for Rock Lee, he's a year older than you, has gone on 12 D rank, 14 C rank. His taijutsu is of the scale, but his other skills are non-existent. It also says that he is part of a joint genin team with the village of Kiri. Another surprising one. This shocked the others as much as Gaara's. And lastly, Uzumaki Naruto. He graduated a year early, impressive. What's this? Kabuto looked at the card for a minute. He has the same mission history and is also part of the joint genin team with Kiri. But what's even more surprising is that all of his skills have question marks. I don't understand. He put the card back. You might want to avoid those three. Most of the rookies could not help but nod in agreement. Across the room at the Naruto and the others were waiting quietly listening to Kabuto. He was telling the rookies which teams were in attendance and which were weak or strong. One team, the Odo, took offense and charged him. Everyone in the room watched the exchange, that is except Naruto and Yuki. Their attention was on Gaara the whole time. The moment they looked at him, the two sensed something different about him. Different but familiar at the same time, like he was similar to them. Their thoughts were interrupted by the shout from the front of the room. Sit down and shut up. The voice belonged to a large jounin with scars on his face. There will no fighting unless allowed by the examiner. The Odo team apologized and the jounin continued. Alright, now I am Marino Ibiki, the head examiner of this portion of the exam. Now you will be placed at random around the room and the test will begin shortly after that. All of the genins took their assigned seats and Ibiki continued. There are some rules that you need to hear before we start. Rule 1. This will be a deduction test. You start off with 10 points and for every question you get wrong you will lose a point. Rule 2. This is a team test, that means that you pass with the combined scores of the entire team. Rule 3. Those caught cheating will lose 2 points per offense. Rule 4. Those who lose their points during the exam, through cheating, and those that fail to answer any question correctly will fail along with their teammates. Several of the genins became nervous after the rules were announced. You have 1 hour to complete the test, starting now. Naruto looked at the question. It read, what is the maximum number of targets you can hit with a kunai while moving at 30 km an hour at a 50-degree incline using 1 kunai? Naruto blinked at the question. There's no way I can answer these. He shouted in his mind. Okay, wait, there has to be a trick to this. He then thought of the rules. Are we supposed to cheat? He asked himself. Naruto looked around and it seemed that everyone was having similar reactions to his about the questions. I think I am. I just can't be caught. He then did a few hand seals thinking, this hurts to use but if I do it quickly I can manage. Daini Shiryoku no Jutsu, second sight. Naruto's eyes glazed over and a blue dot appeared on his head. Naruto then found his sight returned and he could see his own body. Now which person do I copy off of? He looked around and saw several other people cheating. Neji was using his Byakugan, Tenten using mirrors, Yuki using the mirrors as well, Sasuke using his Sharingan, Gaara using an eye made of sand, ECT. Naruto knew the further he went from his body the greater the strain, so he looked to those around him. He saw the girl next to him using her own Byakugan looking at the person in front of her. Hinata, she looks confident about the answers of that guy, so I'll use him too. Naruto then moved his sight so he could look clearly at the other guy's answer, and willed his arm to write what he saw. After a few minutes Naruto saw the person stop after the 9th question and return to his body. When Naruto cut off his jutsu he could feel his eyes ache from the strain put on them. After a few seconds the pain left, and he looked at the 10th question. The last question will be asked when 45 minutes are pasted. After a few minutes Ibiki started to call out team that failed because a member of their team was caught cheating. By the time the 45 minutes were up only 3/4 were left of the genins in the room. Now for the last question, Ibiki said. But before you take it you must decide if you want to take it. If you don't then your points will be reduced to 0, and you and your team will fail. Then obliviously we'll take it. Kiba said. I wasn't done yet, Ibiki smirked. If you take the question and get it wrong then you and the rest of your team will fail, and become genins for the rest of your career. But there are genins here that have taken the exam multiple times and failed, a random genin objected. You had the misfortune of having me as your examiner this time, Ibiki said. This time I make the rules. And you will obey them. This caused several genin to cringe in fear. Tell you what, I'll give you a way out. If you give up you can take it again next year. Now I ask you again, who wants to leave? I do, a Konoha genin said. I give up. 57 fail. Ibiki shouted. 44 and 23 also fail. The 3 genins got up and left after that. Soon several people were getting up and leaving and their teammates following soon after. Naruto looked around as people were leaving and he saw that several were becoming more and more nervous. At this point Ibiki asked, is there anyone else who wishes to give up? More people were about to give up and Naruto became very angry. Just ask the damn question. His shout made several freeze. I don't care if I'm a genin for the rest of time. I'll still continue to become stronger and learn more. I'll be the first genin Hokage if that's what it takes to accomplish my goals. This made several people lower their hands. Are you sure? Ibiki asked sternly. I don't take back my word, that's my way of ninja, Naruto said in return. No point in dragging this out, Ibiki thought. Then in that case, everyone here passes the first exam. What about the 10th question? I mean, Rain asked. There was no 10th question, Ibiki answered, or as better the decision to take the question in the 10th question. He removed his headband and revealed several more scars and a few holes. A Chunin must not be afraid to take any mission. Those that did not stay and take a leap of faith are cowards and do not deserve the title. Then what was the other questions for? A girl wearing a Suna forehead protector asked. Those were to see if you have the skill to gather information without getting caught, Ibiki explained. We asked questions no genin should know, but we put a few plants in the exam for you to cheat off of. A Chunin must sometimes steal information, and if that shinobi is detected the information may become false, and they would have risked their lives and village for nothing. The genin thought about it for a minute then nodded in agreement. Now I congratulate you on passing the first part of the test. The rest will only. Ibiki was caught off by a crash from the window and burst of smoke. When the smoke cleared a bright piece of cloth was held to the roof and floor by 4 kunais with a black-haired woman standing in front of it. No time to relax because the second part of the exam is about to start. The black-haired woman said, I am the second examiner, Mitarashi Anko. Anko felt a tap on her shoulder and turned to see Ibiki with a scowl of disapproval. Bad timing? She asked. She then turned back to the genins and frowned at the number. You're losing your touch, Ibiki. There are at least 23 teams left. Good candidates this year, Ibiki shrugged. Well, no matter, I'll reduce their numbers by at least half. Anko gave a sadistic smile to genins, making several shiver in fear. Follow me and we'll begin. The 69 genins followed the scary Konoha Jounin to a large forest surrounded by a chain-link fence. The feeling they got from the forest made their skin crawl. Several tried to look into the area but could only see about 10 meters because of how dark it was from the thick canopy. When everyone arrived, Anko turned and looked around. Welcome to Training Area 44, the Forest of Death. The way she looked made several of the genin want to leave right then and there. Now come up here and take these forms. There will deaths in this part of the exam, and these forms are to make sure that me and Konoha are not liable for them. One member from each team made their way up and got 3 separate forms. Naruto volunteered to get the ones for his team. When he got back he mentioned, "So what kind of exam do you think it will be?" Considering the size and the feeling from this place, Yuki looked at the forest again and shivered. "I would say it's a survival test with a twist. Now that you all have your forms," Anko spoke, "you will exchange them for one of these." She held up 2 different scrolls, an earth scroll and a heaven scroll. "You will have to hunt for the other scroll you are given. Now a few rules for this test. Rule 1. You will 5 days to complete the test. You cannot quit at any point during the test. You have to stay in the forest for a total of 120 hours, that's about 5 days, all the while avoiding the giant beasts, poisons plants and poisons insects. Rule 2. Only teams with both scrolls will pass the exam. As time goes on you will have less time for rest, and you will become more paranoid, and thus more desperate. You can attain your scroll by any means necessary that include killing. Rule 3. You are not to open the scroll until after the exam is done. Those that do will be disqualified and have a surprise waiting for them. To find out what it is, well, that would ruin the surprise. Now line up and come get your scroll and then you will be taken to your gate. Then Chunin teams obeyed and every team exchanged their scrolls. When Tenten came back with their scroll and they were far enough away from the others, Yuki asked, "What scroll did we get?" "We got a heaven scroll," Tenten answered. "So what's the plan?" "I say we immediately go after another team and get their scroll," Naruto suggested. "I think we should set a base of operation first," Yuki countered. "That way we can gather supplies and if we get separated we can have a place to return to." "I agree with Yuki," Tenten said. "I think it would be best if we pace ourselves." "Okay," Naruto said. "But who should carry the scroll?" "I think you should, Naruto," Yuki said. "Your senses are the best among us and you can detect ambushes the best too." Naruto nodded and took the scroll from Tenten. "I also think we should set up some kind of way to identify each other in case someone tries to impersonate us." "Good idea, Yuki," Tenten said. "I have just the thing." She then pulled out 3 small daggers. "My dad made these before he died. There are only 3 like them in the entire world." She showed that they had an intricate design that would be difficult to copy with a genjutsu. "We each take one and show it to each other in case to prove who we are." Naruto and Yuki both liked that idea and she gave them each a dagger. And then waited for the start of the exam. At the area where the earth and heaven scrolls were given out, Anko waited until the clock struck noon and called out, "The second test begins, now!" All across the fence gates opened and the Chunin rushed into the forest. With Naruto's team the 3 went into the forest and after about 5 minutes they were about 3 kilometers in. "So do we split up or look together?" Tenten asked. "I say split up," Naruto said, "but we meet back here in 30 minutes. Don't trust anyone you come across. That includes Neji, Lee and Sara. They want to pass the exam just as much as we do." The 2 agreed and 3 split up. After about 10 minutes of running, Naruto had still not found a proper place to set up for a temporary base. Part of his reason was that he was moving slower than he normally would. He wanted to be extra careful just in case he ran into another team. Naruto did not want to be the one that cost his team the exam just because he bit off more than he could chew. "I'll keep searching for another few minutes and then head back to the meeting place." Another 5 minutes later, Naruto was about to turn around when he felt a huge surge in chakra coming from nearby. What the hell was that? Curiosity overriding his better judgment, Naruto went in the direction of the chakra signature. Not more than a few seconds later he came across a huge section of damage where it looked like something cut a path in the forest. Deciding to investigate, Naruto carefully checked out the area until he reached the end. Once there he heard a moan and searched for its source. What he found surprised him. It was Sasuke and Sakura's 3rd teammate about to be eaten by a rather large snake. Making a hand seal, Naruto called out, "Kaigebushin no Jutsu." A dozen Narutos filled the immediate area and attacked the snake. They made quick work of it, and were surprised to see it disappear once it was defeated. A person can summon at this exam? Naruto wondered for a moment but quickly let the thought go. He needed to find out what happened. "Hey Naruto for the life of him could not remember this guy's name. "What's your name?" "Shin," the boy answered, barely staying conscious. "What happened?" Naruto asked. "Some weird Chunin with a long tongue came up and attacked us," Shin said. "He blew me away and that's all I know." Shin passed out soon after that. "What do I do now?" Naruto wondered. His question was answered by another large burst of chakra not far away. He could feel the killer intent in the chakra and figured that was where Sasuke and Sakura were. Picking up Shin, Naruto dashed off in that direction. Just before he entered the clearing, Naruto placed Shin in a safe place where he could not get hurt. He then entered the clearing and noticed that the battle was taking place in the canopy. He quickly scaled the tree and went to the battle. What Naruto saw when he arrived made him angry. No, not angry, furious. There was a man was standing on top of a giant snake with Sakura dangling from his long tongue, obviously choking her. And what was Sasuke doing? Standing there too frightened to do anything. Naruto could feel his rage beginning to boil, not just because Sakura was getting strangled, but because her own teammate was not doing anything. If there was one thing Naruto hated more than anything else was to see friends do nothing when help was needed. Not waiting for another second, Naruto jumped just as the snake was about to snap at Sasuke. Unknown to him, his eyes were changing in response to his rage. Sasuke was frozen in fear as the snake lunged at him. Out of pure instinct, he closed his eyes just as the snake opened its mouth. After a few seconds, he opened them to see someone had blocked the snake and was holding it back. Who is? His internal question was cut off by a voice berating him. When he looked up, he saw it was Naruto that saved, only his eyes were different and his whisker marks were more defined. What's wrong with you? Naruto yelled. Sakura-chan's in danger, and you aren't doing anything. Naruto used his strength to push the snake back and attack the guy with the long tongue in order to free Sakura. The man on the snake was surprised to see his summon was stopped by sheer brute force by Genin. Then even more surprised when said Genin pushed the snake away and then charged him with a large curved sword. He was forced to drop the girl and dodge the swing. Naruto swung with his sword once more only to have his target dodge again. In his rage-induced state, Naruto was unable to use any of the advanced kenjutsus he knew. So all he could do was swing his blade as the snake-like man continued to evade his attacks. By the time Naruto attacked the snake man, Sasuke had released himself from the fear in enough time to catch Sakura and place her safely on the tree branch. When he felt she was safe, Sasuke turned back to the fight. The snake man had just dodged another swing from Naruto's sword, and from what he remembered from the mission in Wave Country, Sasuke could tell that Naruto was no amateur with the sword. There is no way that guy's a genin. He was about to jump in and help Naruto when the snake man grabbed Naruto just like Sakura just before breaking the blonde sword. So this is who you are, the snake man said. I can even see the seal. Making a few kill hand seals, he shoved his open palm into Naruto's stomach, calling out, Gagyufuin. The next thing Naruto knew was unbearable pain in from his abdomen just before he passed out. As the snake man dropped Naruto, he heard, Katan Gakaku no Jutsu. He had just enough time before Sasuke's fireball hit him. Using the distraction, Sasuke was able to throw a kunai and save Naruto from crashing into the ground. He then began his attack by throwing several shuriken and kunai with string attached. With his Sharingan activated, he was able to predict which path his enemy would take and ensnared him in the wires. When Sasuke had his target pinned, he performed the hand seals, calling out, Katan Ryuka no Jutsu, sending several streams of fire down the wires and hitting the enemy dead on target. At least that is what he thought. As the smoke cleared, the body of the enemy turned into mud and fell apart just before his eyes. Kukukukuku, the voice of the snake man laughed as he rose out of the tree branch, exactly what is expected of the last Uchiha. Your eyes have the same potential as Itachi. Now I have a gift for you. Before Sasuke could react, the snake man's neck elongated and shot towards him, biting him on the top of his shoulder. This is what Sakura saw when she came to, Sasuke-kun. She shouted as she dove to save him. When Sakura caught Sasuke, she heard the strange enemy address her. Sasuke-kun will seek me for power. It is only a matter of time. The enemy shinobi dismissed the giant snake, then rushed off without another word. Sakura looked around the clearing and noted that Naruto was, for some reason, hanging by a kunai on a nearby tree. She looked some more and saw Shin stumble out of the bushes looking very confused and shaken up. Shin grabbed Naruto. We need to get out of here. Shin nodded and followed as Sakura began to carry Sasuke off. While Naruto was fighting, his teammates had met up again and were waiting for him. After he was more than 5 minutes late, they became very worried. Do you think he was ambushed? Yuki said. Naruto may be stubborn and likes to show off a little, Tenten answered. But he knows when he is over his head and would retreat and try to find us. So you think he is just missing, Yuki stated? Then we should try and find him just in case he is pinned down somewhere. Tenten nodded and the two went off to find their missing teammate. That was when they felt the sudden surge of chakra coming not too far from them. What was that? I'm not sure, Yuki said. But if I know Naruto, he went to find out what it was. You're right, let's go, Tenten said. When they arrived at the scene, they found several scorch marks on various trees around the clearing. But what scared and shocked them the most was the fact that they found Naruto's broken sword on the ground next to a large tree. See if you can find a trail of something for us to follow. We have to find him. Yuki gave no reply and began her search. It took the two a while to find the trail. Whoever made the initial trail made sure to cover it back up and did pretty good job at covering their tracks. Neither of the two girls were tracks, but they could tell that at parts along the trail that were not covered up, it looked like someone was being dragged. This set the two on edge for not only the thought of losing their scroll, but also what might have happened to their teammate. They followed the trail at a quicker pace out of concern, but were still on guard in case someone was setting up for an ambush. After a half an hour of searching, they came across a clearing that surprised and frightened them all at once. For there were several Konoha genins fighting the team from Sound. And from what they could tell, the Konoha genins were losing badly, for they recognized as rookies from first exam and another. Look, that's Lee, Yuki whispered, pointing to the boy in green. The two then witnessed the desperate battle between Sakura and the Otonins. They were impressed by the display of strength the girl showed. It was as if she were possessed. They saw firsthand as she used the most basic of all ninjutsus to confuse and get the drop on the enemy several times. They saw as Sakura savagely bit into the male with spiky brown hair, all the while trying to stab into him. But in the end they knew that it was all in vain. She was outnumbered and against a team strong enough to take down Lee. We need to help her, Tenten nodded, and just as the two were about to enter the battle when a familiar voice spoke up, interrupting the battle. If you value your lives, I would stop. Everyone that could turned to the voice and saw Neji standing on top of a branch with Sora next to him. He had his Byakugan activated, so it was impossible for anyone other than him to determine where his focus was located. What are you going to do to stop us? The Otonin with spiked brown hair said. Neji was speaking to the Otonins, but he was looking at the strange chakra that was emanating from the Uchiha's body. He could tell from the twitching that he was about to wake up, and from the chakra that was pulsing from his body, Neji could tell that he had gotten a lot strong very quickly. I will not do anything, Neji said. The Otonin that asked the question was about to laugh when everyone in the area felt a spike in chakra from the root outcropping behind Sakura. The problem was that this chakra was sickening to its feel. At first Yuki thought it was demon chakra that she felt from Naruto from time to time, but this was different. Where Naruto's was filled with anger, this felt like nothing, an emptiness that chilled your soul. Many of the Konoha shinobi gasped when the source came into the light. Even Neji was surprised to see some strange pattern all over the Uchiha. When Sasuke woke up, he felt strong, stronger than he ever felt in his life. He liked this feeling. It was like he could rip a person in half and not break a sweat. He looked around and saw people staring at him in surprise and fear. He liked that too, but when his gaze fell on Sakura, he saw she was very injured and all his focus went to one question. Who did this to you, Sakura? I did, the spike-haired Otonin said proudly. Zaku, be quiet, the bandaged ninja said. But the one named Zaku was not listening to his teammate. I did it to her, and I'm proud of that. You want to make something of it. Sasuke looked up and began to move toward him. Zaku then smirked. Take this. Zenkuho. A massive air blast shot out his palms straight at Sasuke. Sasuke easily dodged the blast and disappeared before the blast even hit him. He reappeared behind Zaku, grabbing his arms and pulling them back. You're very proud of these arms. Let's see how you are without them. He pulled back harder as he placed his foot in between Zaku's shoulder blades, causing Zaku to scream in agony. The scream did not deter Sasuke. In fact, he increased the pressure. He continued to do so until he felt a soft embrace from behind. Stop, Sasuke-kun, I'm alright, Sakura said, trying to calm the boy down. Her pleas appeared to work as the strange black marks began to recede back to Sasuke's shoulder. Once Sasuke was back to normal, she looked at the Otonins. You are strong, Sasuke-sama, the bandaged guy said. We cannot defeat you now. We will leave this. He placed his scroll on the ground. If you let us go. Receiving nod from Sasuke, he was about to retreat when Sakura asked a question. Why did you attack Sasuke-kun if Orochimaru wants him? I do not know, he answered. We were only ordered to kill him. It appears Orochimaru-sama tricked us. Without saying another word, the Otonin picked up his teammates and left. After the Oto team left, the Konoha shinobi regrouped with their respective teams. When Neji's team left, Lee addressed Sasuke. You were able to drive them off where I could not. You are strong, but I will be stronger when I face you later. It was at this point Naruto exited the roots with a confused look on his face. When he surveyed those around, he saw several people together, including his own team, just standing around talking. What's going on? He asked. Several people turned to him, but it was Yuki who answered. While you were out, they, gesturing to the other teams, were attacked. Don't worry, they were driven off. Don't lose during this part, Neji said, addressing Naruto. I would like to face you when you are at your best. Naruto nodded as his friends jumped away. After they left, Tenen asked, Do you know where our scroll is? Before Naruto could answer, Sakura spoke up. I have it. She opened her pouch and showed them the Heaven Scroll. Are we going to have to fight to get it back? Yuki asked. Sakura shook her head. She said Naruto helped him before. She threw the scroll to Yuki, who nodded in thanks. We should be leaving, Tenten suggested. Her two teammates nodded and left. They traveled for about a half an hour and reached a small cave that Yuki had discovered that would be good for a base of operation. When they landed, they noticed Naruto was breathing harder than usual. What's wrong, Naruto? Tenten asked. Usually you're the one that leaves us winded. I don't know, Naruto said. Something's wrong with my chakra. It's like I can't seem to get at it, and it's tiring me out. I think that freak that attack I fought before I passed out might have done something to me. Then we should finish the exam as quickly as possible, Yuki suggested. I say we look for a team that's an easy target, take their scroll and head to the tower. That should give you a chance to rest and recover. It was well-known fact that Naruto recovered the fastest out of everyone in their group. When everyone else was dead tired and muscles would ache for days, Naruto would be back to peak health in a few hours. Yeah, let's get this over with as soon as possible, Tenten agreed. And even if the team we encounter has an Heaven Scroll, we can trade it to one of the other teams. After a quick rest and something to eat, the three left the cave and searched, this time as a group, for another team. It only took them a few minutes to come upon some Amines, Rain, caught in a trap. It was clear that the group was unconscious, but the team approached cautiously just in case there were other traps. After a close inspection, they found that it was a double-layered trap, but the AIM team already tripped it, thus their trap state. Working cautiously, Tenten searched them for anything her team could use. When she looked in the pouch of the last one, she could not help but smile. Looks like these guys have not been here very long. Why do you say that? Yuki asked. Tenten held up the earth scroll. This is why. This is probably Kiba's work, Naruto commented from a kneeling position. Why do you say that? Tenten asked. Naruto threw her an object formed the ground. When she looked at it, Naruto said one word, dog biscuit. Come on, let's go before they come back, Yuki said. No one objected and left the scene. Not long after they left, they heard a howl in anger from behind them and figured Kiba and his team found the Nins already missing their scroll. The three traveled at a realized but still fast pace for an hour before they reached the tower. They went around the base of the tower until they found their entrance, and went in. As they entered, they saw some writing on the wall, only it looked incomplete. I think the rest of the message might be in the scrolls, Yuki said. Naruto and Tenten, each carrying one of the scrolls, took them out and unrolled them. There was a burst of smoke, and they realized that it was a summoning scroll. Preparing for the worst, each member went for their swords in case of battle. Naruto cursed to himself when he grabbed nothing and realized he no longer had his sword, so instead he reached for his kunai holder and pulled one out. After the smoke cleared, the three could see a figure standing there. They were surprised to see that it was Naruto's old academy sensei. Congratulations of passing the second exam. Iruka-sensei, why are you here? Naruto asked. Each team that passes the exam gets a Chunin to greet them after they open the scrolls, Iruka explained. I volunteered to meet yours. He could see the smiles on all their faces. He had gotten to know the six over the past year very well and gotten rather close to them. You are the fourth team to make it here, and because of how short it took you to complete the test, you have a few days to rest and recover. There are food and beds upstairs, and before you ask Naruto, yes, there is ramen. They all shared a laugh and went upstairs to get some rest after their trip through the forest of death. The genins that passed the exam were walking, guided by their jounin senseis, out of the forest of death. The prelims were over and they were given a month to practice and train for the upcoming finals of the third test. And while no one came out of the fights uninjured, there were several that were more serious than the others. Fights like Gaara and Lee were extraordinary displays of power. When Lee first started the fight, no one but his teammates and senseis had any faith in him. But when they saw that Gaara's sand would block all of Lee's strikes, they became worried. That was until he dropped his weights and created two very large craters. After that, they only wondered when Guy had increased his favorite student's weights by that much. Nezo even commented that it was more than even he expected. From there, the fight went from exciting to heartbreaking as Gaara took a beating that many, even some of the jounins in attendance, could not, then shrug it off like it was nothing and finally crush Lee's arm and leg. And finally stand back up by sheer force of will when he literally had nothing left. Then there were fights that were good to just watch as friends and rivals went at each other to see which one was better. The best example of this was the fight between Yuki and Tenten. The two, after spending so much time training together, knew each other's fighting styles inside and out. The fight started off with the two of them changing sword strikes for several minutes. Yuki with the longer sword had the greater reach, while Tenten with the wakasashis had better defense. Many in the room were impressed with the display of skill the two young ladies had with their weapons. After the exchange of sword strikes, the two went to different tactics. Tenten went into her long-range throwing weapons and was able to score some good hits, but she just could not keep up with Yuki and her water jutsus, especially when Yuki made the entire arena cover in mist. Because Tenten could no longer see, her opponent was not as adept at silent killing, she had lost to her teammate. Finally, there were fights that were just plain pathetic to watch. Like the one between Aburame's Shino and Abumi Zaku. Shino clearly showed that he outmatched Zaku with his bugs. Zaku got the air jets in his arms filled with bugs and they became useless. After that, Shino merely waited until his Kakai insects to suck all the chakra out of Zaku, who refused to give up. Another rather one-sided fight was between Neji and Kankuro. Neji easily saw that the Kankuro he was facing was actually a puppet and the real one was inside the wrappings. So not wasting his time on the puppet, Neji attacked the bundle and knocked out the poor Suna Genin in 3 Juken strikes, thus ending the match in under 30 seconds. By the end of the matches, the matchups for the final round were decided. The first fight would be between Gaara and Sasuke, the second between Shino and Sora, the third between Neji and Naruto, the fourth Hinata and Yuki, the fifth Temari and Shikamaru, and finally the odd man out was Dosa, the leader of the Otonins. Once everyone was clear of the forest of death, everyone made their way to the hospital to get checked out and make sure no unforeseen injuries occurred. After about 2 hours of poking and prodding, Naruto met with his friends that passed the prelims and Guy and Noza to see what kind of training they would do. When everyone was gathered, they could not help but notice the sad look on Guy's face. I just heard from the doctors, Guy said. Lee may not be able to continue his life as a ninja. I know this is going to sound cruel, but Noza said, don't tell Lee about this. Let us be the ones to tell him. The four there made no move one way or another, but the two jounins could tell they understood. For now you should rest up. Tomorrow you all will be split up for a month of training. Who will be training who, Noza sensei? Sora asked. Do not worry about me, Neji said. I already have someone lined up. Everyone gave him a confused look at first but figured he was not lying. Very well, Neji, Noza said. I will be taking Yuki and Sora to train them, and Naruto, I will help you with your training. But Guy began. Everyone could tell he was divided right now. But Lee needs you more, Naruto said. Don't worry about it. So who have you lined up to train me? Guy smiled at Naruto's gesture. He really did not want to abandon one student for another, but this was an extreme case. Like I said, I will help you, but not as often as I would like. I did find a person to work with you. I am sure you will like him. He may even teach you some Konoha kenjutsus. How am I supposed to learn kenjutsus if I don't have a sword? Naruto asked. He did not want to sound difficult, but it was the truth. Don't worry about that, Naruto, Noza said. You can train with a bakken for the time being. I'll be sure to have one just like your old sent to you. Naruto nodded happily in thanks. Naruto, you will meet your new trainer in the forest on the far side of town, Guy said. The doctors say that Lee will wake up sometime tomorrow, so I won't be there. Again, I'm sorry. Naruto just nodded as Guy went back into the hospital to check on Lee. Noza, Yuki and Sora then left as well. Neji was about to leave when Naruto addressed him. Neji, I want to fight you at your best, so train hard. I wish to fight you at your best as well, Neji said. And regardless of who either of us wins, Gaara of the desert will pay for what he did to Lee. Both of them viewed Lee as a worthy rival and a good friend. When Gaara crushed Lee's legs, they both wanted to attack the Suna shinobi right there. If it were not for the Noza holding them back, they just would have. Naruto nodded in agreement. He still had this strange feeling about the boy. Well, I'll see you in a month. Right now I need to get some ramen. Neji shook his head as the blonde left to eat his favorite food. The next day Naruto went early to the forest to wait for his trainer. While he was waiting, Naruto tried to do some chakra control exercises. He was still having trouble gathering his chakra and also found it difficult to refill his reserves. For a half an hour Naruto did the tree climbing exercise but found that he could only get about halfway up. What's wrong with me? Naruto wondered. I haven't had this bad of control since I started as a genin. Naruto admittedly had among the worst chakra control in the village, so much as that he had to continually do the chakra exercises in order to maintain a modicum of control. As he got stronger. Okay, once more, Naruto then dashed up the side of the tree. As he was about to make his third step, a voice caused him to lose focus. I'm glad you're here early, the voice said. Because of the lack of focus, Naruto lost control of his chakra and fell off the tree. I was told that you had problems with control but did not think you were this bad. I slipped because you distracted me, Naruto accused. Now who are you? Naruto observed the person in front of him for a moment, for some reason wondering why he seemed so familiar. I am Ediso, he answered. And I am your trainer for the next few weeks. So you're the one that's going to teach me some Konoha kenjutsus? Naruto wondered. Maybe, Ediso said. I have to observe you for a couple of days. And before that you will need better chakra control. He then turned to the tree and noticed several scratches from a kunai. Guy told me that you completed both the tree climbing and water walking exercises. Naruto nodded in confirmation. So why are you climbing trees? Water walking is a better way to increase your control. I was waiting for you, Naruto said. This guy's attitude reminded him so much of someone, but Naruto could not figure it out. Ediso had this air about him that said even though he was probably skilled, he liked to such up a bit too much. Well then let's go somewhere to get you better use of your control, Ediso suggested. A few minutes later Naruto found himself at a nearby hot spring. Well, you know what to do, so get started. Naruto nodded and stepped onto the water. After he took another step he promptly fell right in. Damn, that's hot, Naruto said, rocketing out of the water. First Nezo-sensei makes me learn to walk on water over near freezing cold water, and now you make me do it on boiling water. Well, it's Ediso tried to explain something but was cut off by a yell. What are you doing peeping into that section? That sounded like Ebisu Ikoto, cousin, Ediso said. Ikoto? Naruto asked. You mean to tell me you're related to Ebisu? Yes, Ediso said. Have you met him? Naruto frowned and nodded in reply. Yeah, I know him, Naruto thought. He's Konohamaru's tutor. Naruto met the Sandame's grandson a few months ago after he perfected Oryoku no Jutsu. The little kid wanted Naruto to teach and Naruto complied. Ebisu tracked them down, and then scolded Konohamaru for learning such a vulgar skill. That was also when Naruto performed the upgraded harem no jutsu that sent Ebisu soaring. Ever since that time Naruto had a low opinion on the man. Let's go see what's going on, Ediso said. Naruto followed, although he just wanted to continue training. When they found the tutor they saw him berating a large man with white hair that was peeping in a hole through the fence. Ediso seeing this shouted, What a vile person to be peeping like that, Ediso? Ebisu said, Help me eject this vile man. Naruto stared and sighed at the way the cousins were acting. He had hoped Ediso was not like Ebisu, but apparently certain traits of personality ran in the family. And I have to train this guy? Naruto asked himself. I'm definitely telling Gai-sensei to find me another trainer. That does it, that large white-haired man said. You two are making way too much noise. Kyucho's no jutsu. The man then slammed his hand onto the ground and a burst of smoke appeared. When the smoke cleared there was a toad with a man sitting on it. After a brief second the toad shot its tongue out, and knocked the two shouting men into a nearby wall, knocking them out cold. The toad then disappeared and the man went back to his hole. Naruto watching this could not help but get excited. Hey, who are you? The man turned and smiled. Why, I am. He then began this strange dance. Mt Myobokugama Sanin, the Kiru, frog, or toad, Sanin. Naruto being distracted by this stupid dance did not hear right and said, Hey Ero-san, teach me how to do that. Trying to decide whether to smile or frown, the large man thought, Brat mispronounced my name, but he does want to learn my supreme peeping technique. I never could get Erasure to want to learn that. Moving away from the fence he came closer. Sure brat, come with me. you're nowhere near ready to learn here. Naruto, after seeing what summons could do from Guy, saw the wisdom in these words. They walked a short ways until they came to a small waterfall. Now the first thing you have to remember, when performing this technique you have to be in the right spot. Right spot? Naruto said. Inside his head he was remembering that Guy could summon his turtles any place he choose. That's right, the white-haired man said. Believe me, the last thing you want is to be caught doing it. But that closet pervert and his cousin caught you, Naruto said. Well, that was different, they were guys. You defiantly do not want ladies catching you. Yeah, I can see that, Naruto muttered, remembering when he saw how some girls reacted to a normal-sized toad. He could only image how they would react to a giant one. Now then, the next thing you have to remember is this. The man reached into his robes and pulled out a metal tube. At your level you'll need one of these to get a good look. Good look? Naruto asked. What does getting a good look have anything to do with summoning? Summoning? I thought you wanted to learn my supreme peeping technique. Why would I want to learn that? Naruto yelled. I'm training for the Chunin exam finals and need useful jutsus. The man frowned and started to walk off. I don't teach brats like you. What? Naruto was fuming. First this guy says he was going to team him to summon, then tries to teach him to peep, and now backs out of the deal. You're not getting away, Orioke no Jutsu. The white-haired man slowly turned around. When he saw what Naruto changed into, he smiled broadly. Before Naruto could blink, the man was right next to him. So this is the perverted kinjutsu I heard so much about. Naruto began to take a step back. I had no idea you invented it. You are a true artist. Hold still while I take some notes. Naruto disengaged his jutsu and started to walk. Hey, wait, at least tell me your name. He then reached out, grabbed and hoisted him, not letting Naruto proceed. Reluctantly Naruto answered, Uzumaki Naruto. He dropped Naruto at the sound of the name. So this is Kyuubi's vessel, he thought. He looked him over again as Naruto turned to walk away. Wait, I'll teach you how to summon. Naruto spun around with a huge smile on his face. If anything, I could see how stable the seal is. So how do I summon? Naruto asked with excitement. Hold on, he bit his thumb, did some seals, and then summoned another toad. This one had a large scroll in its mouth that it handed to him. Say your name in blood and place your fingertip marks at the end. Then do the seals. Naruto nodded and repeated the seals after biting his thumb. He slammed his palm into the ground, saying, Kyocho's no jutsu. A large burst of smoke appeared, and when it cleared it shot a tadpole. What the hell was that? He asked. That is totally useless in battle. It's not my fault, Naruto protested. My chakra control is totally screwed up since that long-tongued freak hit me. Long-tongued freak? He thought. He brat, come for a minute. Where were you hit? Naruto complied and said, he hit me in the stomach. Lift your shirt and call on your chakra, he said. Naruto did as instructed. So a 5-part seal over the original, he thought. Hold still, pausing to gather chakra, Gabuken. Hey, what did you do? Naruto demanded. I just relaxed some of you pressure points, the white-haired man answered. You should have no problem with your control now. But before you try again, have you ever felt a second chakra source? Naruto did not answer and just looked at him suspiciously. That was all the confirmation he needed. I'll take that as a yes. Can you call on that chakra at will? No, Naruto answered. I can only do it when I'm mad or I'm in real danger, extreme emotion or life-threatening situation, he thought. Well, I think it's time for you to learn how to call it at will. Are you sure? Naruto asked. Yep, but we'll begin tomorrow, he said. Go home, you've done enough here. Naruto gazed up at the sky and nodded. When Naruto was gone, he called out, I know you've been watching him and me. A man with pale complexion, silver hair and 2 thick lines on his cheeks appeared behind him. Just what I would expect, Jiraiya-sama. I did not think you come out of village, Shiori, Jiraiya commented. I take it you have been observing Naruto for a while now. Not long actually, Shiori answered. We ran into each other when I had to hunt down some Dabutsuborii. Jiraiya nodded, indicating for him to continue. I did not think a seal could be strong enough to hold the Kyuubi. Though I did see it when you lifted up his shirt. I must say Yondaime was a master at seals. To design one to allow human and demon power to combine safely, most impressive. Jiraiya smiled with pride. Let me guess, you want to teach him how to channel the Kyuubi's chakra? Yes, Shiori said. It would wise for him to learn to control the chakra. Power as great as the Kyuubi can overwhelm a person. True, Jiraiya agreed. That was the sole reason he wanted to teach Naruto to summon the chakra to begin with, so Naruto would not lose control. We'll have to see the old man. Of course, Shiori said. A half an hour later at the Hokage office, Guy was just about to enter. The Hokage had called him for some reason he was informed of. He was about to enter when he heard voices from the other side. One he knew was the Hokage, but the other 2 were foreign but some familiarity. I wonder who's in there. Entering the office, Guy bowed in respect. When he raised again, he immediately recognized the 2 other people. Jiraiya, one of the legendary Sound Nin, and Shiori, the Yukai that he ran into that night a couple of months ago. I am sorry to pull you away from your student, Guy, the Hokage said, but this concerns one of your other students, Naruto to be exact. Shiori then turned to Guy. I would like to take and train the boy, he said bluntly. I have received permission from your Hokage, but as he is one of your students I am obligated to ask you, Hokage-sama is this wise? Guy asked. It is best for Naruto to learn to harness the power he has, Jiraiya answered. And if it makes you feel better, I'll be going as well. No sense in taking chances, and what better place for him to learn to harness the combined power of a demon and a human than in a village with people that can do the same, Shirori said. You mean the sanctuary? Guy concluded. He received a nod from the three. Guy knew that the sanctuary was a village hidden away from just about everyone. The reason for this was that most of its population were yokai and humans that decided to mate and their offspring, and because such unions were often ridiculed, a place was needed for them to live in peace. The more Guy thought about it, the more it made sense. Naruto would be around people that could teach him far better than anyone else, and with Jiraiya going as well, he was sure Naruto would be safe. Very well, but he is to come back for the Chunin exam finals. Of course, Shirori said. And you have my word that no harm will come to him as long as he is under my care. The next day Naruto went to the same spot to find his new perverted sensei and learn to call his other chakra. When he arrived, he was surprised to see the man standing with two other he recognized. One was Guy, the other was the stranger that saved him from the Dabutsubori a couple of months ago. The odd thing was Guy was being unusually serious, which made Naruto tense a little. Naruto, Guy said. In preparation for the Chunin exam finals, I am sending you on a training mission with these two gentlemen. He's not a gentleman, Naruto said, pointing to Jiraiya. He's a pervert. Guy and Shirori had to hold in their laughter when they saw Jiraiya's eye twitch. Actually, Naruto, this is Jiraiya of the legendary three, Guy said, pointing to Jiraiya, and you already know Shirori. They will teach you jutsus and training techniques that even I cannot do. Naruto did not hear the last part. All he heard was Jiraiya of the legendary three. To be trained by one of the strongest shinobi in the world was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So when do we leave? He asked with excitement. As soon as you are. Naruto disappeared. Ready, Guy said. He is interesting, Shirori said. I am curious as to see how the next time month turns out. I just hope I can get some good inspiration, Jiraiya said, already thinking about the pretty she-demons at the sanctuary. Pre-story author's note. From now on, bold will stand for the growl-like voice of a yokai in their animal form. The trip to the sanctuary was actually only a 3 days travel from Konoha. This surprised Naruto, but it was explained to him that because of the large forests and the size of the trees at their region in Fire Country, it made it an ideal place to hide. Here many of the yokai that could change into the animal forms and not given a second thought because this region was known for large animals. After the 3-day trip through the vast forest, Jiraiya and Shirori came to a sudden stop. We're here, Shirori said. Here? Naruto asked, looking around. I don't see anything. You're not supposed to brat, Jiraiya said. There is a complex genjutsu that even the Sharingan and Byakugan can't see through. It is meant to throw off people that could be harmful to us, Shirori explained. It is a jutsu that only high-level yokai can detect. And to undo you need the specific seal sequence that only members of the sanctuary know. Hey Shiori-sensei, Naruto spoke again. What kind of yokai are you? I am actually a Hanyu, Shirori answered, 1/4 human and 3/4 yokai. Why do you wish to know? I've been meaning to ask you ever since we started, Naruto answered. I was just wondering how many types of yokais are out there. There are as many yokai tribes as there are human clans actually, Shirori said. Though yokai do not number as high as humans in population. Naruto thought of just how many clans are in Konoha alone, and realized what Shirori was saying. That's a lot. It sounded pathetic in his mind, but that was all he could think of. Better believe it, brat, Jiraiya said. Now Shirori, will you please undo the genjutsu so we may enter? Certainly. Shirori then performed 5 hand seals as Naruto watched. Boar, dragon, snake, boar, and the last one Naruto could not recognize. Shiori-sensei, Naruto called, what was that last seal? I don't recognize it. I'll tell you later, Naruto-san, Shirori responded. Now if you will follow me, we are still about an hour away from the village. He then leapt away with Jiraiya just after him and Naruto following Jiraiya. An hour later Naruto found himself in a most unique setting. All around him there were people that looked so different than any others. Many looked like a cross between various animals and humans, while some looked pure human, and others were just animals walking on 2 feet. There were even large animals that were walking around that would stop and seem to have a talk with their 2-legged counterparts. When Shirori and Jiraiya started to walk down the center street, many of the people would glance at Jiraiya and wave at Shirori. Guess Ero-san has been here before. Naruto then made to follow them, and that was when he noticed the various stares sent his way. He knew people were looking at him strangely. After a few seconds Naruto understood what was so strange about the looks. They were not ones of hate or fear but of curiosity and wonder. When Naruto caught up with the 2 adults, Jiraiya spoke to Naruto. Kind of overwhelming, isn't? Naruto could only nod. This was just too much for him to take in all at once. When they said he would be trained at a village that was populated by Hanyas, he imagined only a few dozen at the most. Not a few hundred as it looked like. Apparently the mating of human and yokai was more common than he believed. The elders will wish to see Naruto-san, Shirori said. We shall head there first, then I will show you both where you will be staying for the next few weeks. The 2 Konoha shinobi nodded and continued to follow. Not long after, Shirori led them to a cave in the mountain near the village. Now Naruto, before you enter you must understand that the elders of this village are mostly yokai that are in their natural forms. They are reasonable but can be easily offended. In other words, mind your manners, brat, Jiraiya ordered. Look who's talking, Ero-sanin, Naruto said. I would bet that you won't even come with us because they caught you peeping at some of the girls here. He has you there, Jiraiya-sama, came in deep growl of a voice. The trio turned and saw a large wolf coming out of the entrance. The wolf was pure white, had yellow eyes and stood a little bit bigger than a horse. The last time you were here my mate did not take too kindly to your data gathering. While Jiraiya backed away from the large world, Shiori dropped to his knee. Ojaizen, I was just about to take Uzumaki Naruto to see you. I am aware of the Shiori, the wolf said. Cub, come here, let me have a look at you. Naruto obeyed and came within a few steps of the wolf. My name Hogo, call of the wolf, I am the alpha of the pack here. Naruto just stared at the large talking wolf. He was too stunned to say anything. The wolf meanwhile started to circle the boy, observing and smelling him at every angle. You have used the Kyuubi's power before, I can smell it in your chakra. Naruto nodded in confirmation. Interesting that you were not overwhelmed by it. Hogo turned to Shiori. He is welcome in the village. Show him how to use his power. Yes, Ojaizen, Shiori said, still kneeling. And tell that pervert that if he tries any of his antics to Nico, cat tribe will use him to sharpen their claws, Hogo said. And Cub, do not let that pervert's habits rub off on you. After the wolf Yukai left, Shiori stood back up. Well then, Naruto-san, shall I show you to where you will be staying? What about Ero-sanin? Naruto asked. You will be staying in the same place he did the last time he was here, Shiori answered. Jiraiya-sama knows where it is. Okay then, Naruto said. But when do we start? This afternoon, Shiori said. Once you get settled in we'll begin. A few hours later Naruto followed Shiori and Jiraiya out of the village. It was explained that a good way to draw out the Kyuubi's power was to first exhaust his own chakra. And to do this Jiraiya suggested continuing his summoning training, and because the size of different toad could range from a palm size to one almost as big as the village, then it was best to do it away from where it could cause damage. When the two adults were satisfied the distance was sufficient, they stopped. Now Naruto-san, you must understand something before we begin, Shiori said. Kyuubi no Kitsune is the most powerful of the 9 great beasts, and the great beasts are not like normal yokai. Normal yokai are grouped in different classes according to power, ranging from D class up to S class, similar to you shinobi. The 9 great beasts, however, are in a class of their own. They are so powerful that even S-class yokai tries to avoid. It is said that while normal yokai are attuned to various forces of nature, the great beasts are the embodiment of forces of nature. So which force of Naruto is the Kyuubi a part of? Naruto asked. Several actually, Jiraiya answered. The legends about one swing of its tail making earthquakes, tsunamis and cyclones were all true. That is why the Kyuubi is considered the strongest of all the great beasts, not just because of its raw power, but because of its control over various forms of nature. So where do the great beasts come from? Naruto asked again. That is not known, Shiori said. The only ones that can answer that is the great beasts. Now to move, let us move on with the training. Focus all your chakra into the summoning and try to bring out the strongest toad you can, Jiraiya said. Naruto performed the seals and slammed his hand onto the ground. Kyuucho's no jutsu. The normal burst of smoke, and when it cleared there was a small reed toad under Naruto's hand. Give me candy if you want me to work with you, the toad said. It's better than a tadpole, Jiraiya said, though not by much. He then made his way to the small toad. Hey, who are? The toad looked up at Jiraiya. I'm Gamakichi, the toad answered. And you're that pervert that Pops doesn't like. That took Jiraiya back. There's only one toad that doesn't like me. He then shivered at the last time he summoned it. Well, we're just training, so you can leave now. Not before I get some candy, Gamakichi said. You heard him, Naruto, Jiraiya said quickly. Give him some candy so you can try again. Eh? Naruto was confused but reached into his pocket. This is all I got since Konohamaru cleaned me out before we left. He threw the toad a piece of mint. Thanks, Gamakichi said, I like you. With that the toad disappeared in a cloud. After the exchange between the 3 Shiori came closer. It appears that you need to refine your chakra control, Naruto-san. You should have summoned a larger toad than that one. I've always had problems with chakra control, Naruto explained. If I go too long without practicing my control it goes to shit. The seal that was over Yondame's seal probably did the equivalent of what you describe, Jiraiya said. Alright, we'll spend the next couple of days getting your control back up. Naruto nodded and asked, Shiori-sensei, do you know where there is a lake near here? Yes I do, Shiori said, and the water walking is a good exercise. I have a better one. It involves pinpoint permission to perform, and the longer you do it the harder it is maintaining. It is perfect for what we are trying to do. Really, what is it? Naruto asked. Shiori performed some hand seals. Again some Naruto did not recognize. Mineraru Okugi, mineral spike. Suddenly a spike of various minerals came out of the ground. Watch closely. He then generated enough chakra into his finger to make it glow a greenish color. He then put his finger on the spike and did a handstand. After a few minutes he flipped off and said, now you try it. Before Naruto did he had to ask, why is your chakra green? That's because of the unique blending of human and yokai chakra, Shiori said. Now get to work. After hours of trying and failing to stay up, Naruto finally managed it. To maintain his balance and keep from breaking the spike, which he did several times, Naruto had to keep the chakra focused, and at one point, he constantly had to push and pull back the amount throughout the ordeal. Good, now hold it there for as long as you can, Shirori ordered. Naruto complied and held his position for another half an hour. When 30 minutes were up, he collapsed to the side of the spike. Watching from a nearby tree, Jiraiya said, "After all that time I did not think he would last that long." "Neither did I," Shirori said. "And he did it with his own chakra, not the Kyuubi's. An impressive display of stamina." Jiraiya nodded in agreement. "It should be easier to draw out the chakra now." The two walked down to the fallen Naruto just as he sat up. "That was a lot harder than I thought. Now that you've used up all your chakra, it's time to summon again," Jiraiya said. "This time try to draw the Kyuubi's." Naruto lay there for another few seconds to catch his breath. Standing up, he tried to summon again. This time, however, nothing came out, not even a tadpole. "Damn, I don't have anything left," Naruto said. "You're trying to use your chakra," Shirori said. "Try to draw the Kyuubi's. Try to remember when you were using it, and feel what you were going through at the time." Naruto closed his eyes and began to picture all the times he felt another chakra source from inside of him. Images of the forest of death and the person that attacked him there flashed through his mind. His breathing became deep and he began to frown. The next set of images was when he and his team were taking their first solo mission and they faced a Chunin, and he saw his friends becoming hurt. His frown increased and his breath speed up. Suddenly his body felt renewed and he snapped his eyes open. "Performing the seals necessary," Naruto said. "Kyocho's no jutsu." "Oh crap!" Jiraiya shouted as he, Naruto, and Shirori shot into the air. "Jiraiya!" A voice boomed from underneath the three. "Why did you summon me here?" Jiraiya about to answer when Naruto, due to lack of energy, slipped of the toad's head. Seeing a boy fall off his head, the toad shot his tongue out and caught him. Bringing the boy up, he asked, "And why is there this runt on my head with you?" "Actually, Gamabunta-sama," Shirori said, jumping to where the toad could see him. "That boy in your tongue summoned you?" "This kid summoned me?" Gamabunta asked. "Ha ha 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 ha, like a little punk could summon me." Naruto, hearing the laughter, yelled at the monumental toad, "Hey, I did summon you. If you don't believe me, you can ask Iaro-sanin." "Iaro-sanin?" Gamabunta asked, bringing Naruto up to his eyes. "Do you mean Jiraiya?" Naruto nodded. "Ha ha ha ha, I like that name for him." Gamabunta then looked at Naruto closer. "Did you summon Gamakichi earlier?" He said a blonde kid called him out and gave him some mint. "Eh? Yeah, I summoned him earlier," Naruto said. "HHHMM. Gamabunta looked at Naruto and thought for a minute. "I like you, kid. Tell you what, if you can summon me at a later date, and I'll give you a test to become my subordinate." "Really?" Naruto asked. "That'd be great. Just don't let that Yaro-sanin make you a pervert," Gamabunta said. "I hate perverts." Naruto nodded his head with vigor in agreement. Then, until next time. He used his tongue to lower Naruto back to the ground. When everyone was off of him, Gamabunta disappeared into a huge cloud of smoke. "You have not ceased to keep surprising me, Naruto-san," Shirori said. "The only person I ever heard Gamabunta taking a liking to was Yandame." "Heh, thanks," Naruto said just before he passed out. Jiraiya, watching the whole event, kept muttering on about lousy students, and toads on better terms than him, when he was the one who to refine the contract. "Now that he has drawn out the power, it will be easier for the next part of his training," Shirori said. "Good," Jiraiya said, "then I'll leave his training to you. I have to check on some contacts, and won't be back for a couple of weeks." "Very well," Shirori said. "The next part does not require you aids, so that is fine." While Naruto was in the sanctuary, the others in Konoha were preparing for the finals. The Suna and Oto ninjas were having a meeting about the upcoming finals. Kabuto, now revealed as an Oto spy, watched as Gaara killed Dosa one night. "What is he?" Kabuto asked. "He is our greatest weapon," the Suna Jounin answered. "He is unbeatable and will ensure our victory over Konoha." Close by, someone was listening in on their conversation. "It appears we have a spy," Kabuto said. "I need to remain hidden, so why don't you take care of him, Baki?" Baki nodded and pursued the spy. The spy turned out to be the examiner for the third test. After a quick exchange of blows, Baki killed the sickly Umbu. Elsewhere, the others were preparing as well. Neji was perfecting a principle that he got from watching Gaara and Lee. Shikamaru was playing shogi, sharpening his mind. Hinata was training with Shino to try and refine her own techniques, while Shino was trying to make his bugs faster. Yuki and Sora were constantly working of their water jutsus and personal weapons. And Sasuke was training with Kakashi in the mountains. Sasuke had just blown another hole in the wall of the mountains from his latest jutsu. "When I master this, no one will be able to match me," Sasuke thought. "I'll be one step closer to killing Itachi." He then thought about the others in the exam, especially a blonde loudmouth that kept humiliating him. "And I'll prove that I'm stronger than him too." "Sasuke," Kakashi said, "you should get back to work. This jutsu requires more speed to be performed properly." Sasuke nodded and went back to his speed training. "He's getting stronger every day." Kakashi watched as his star student dashed back and forth over the rough terrain. With the Chidori, he won't try to use the curse seal. Back in the sanctuary, Naruto trained with Shirori constantly for a week straight to be better at drawing out Kyuubi's chakra. He did not risk summoning Gamabunta, but he did other exercises. One day, Shirori met Naruto at the usual training spot. "Now, Naruto, you can draw out Kyuubi's chakra, but you still cannot control it. The next stage of your training will involve learning to control it. Now I must warn you, it will be very dangerous for what I am about to do. Are you sure you want to proceed? Yes, was Naruto's simple answer. Very well, Shiori said, close your eyes and relax. Naruto complied and Shiori began a long series of hand seals, Fukai Tamashii Harakoma. Deep soul penetration. Both Shiori and Naruto felt a spasm once, then stood stiff. At first Naruto felt a jolt pass through his body, then he felt nothing, and now he felt wet. Standing up, Naruto looked around and saw he was standing in what looked like a sewer with a strange glow coming from one end. What is this place? Naruto asked. We are deep in your soul, Naruto-san, Shiori answered. Come, we must go face him. Shiori began to walk down the corridor to the faint glow. Confront who? Naruto asked. He did not like the uneasy nature Shiori was displaying. The more they walked, the more on edge Shiori became. Finally, when they entered a chamber with massive bars on one end where the glow was coming from, Shiori answered, to confront the Kyuubi. Naruto stared at Shiori for a minute, then looked over to the bars where two massive eyes stared out. Boy, come here. Naruto looked at Shiori, but Shiori did not make any move of say anything, so Naruto complied. When he got closer, three huge claws jetted out from the bars. Naruto just flinched a little but made no other move. You do not show fear, the Kyuubi said. Why have you come here, Hanyu? Shiori, taking Naruto's lead, walked up to the bars, staying behind Naruto, and began, to purpose an arrangement. Great Kyuubi. Hey, what kind of arrangement? Naruto asked, a little angry for not being told anything beforehand. A mutually beneficial one, Shiori answered. He was telling both Naruto and the great beast in front of him. He knew the kitsune was curious. Naruto here has been able to draw. Take, Kyuubi corrected. Take, Shiori said, your power. I purpose you give it willingly to him. And why should I do that? Kyuubi asked. For your own survival, great Kyuubi, Shiori said. If Naruto dies, so do you. Kyuubi narrowed its eyes at Shiori, but he continued nonetheless, and to allow you to have experiences once again. Explain, Kyuubi said, not bothering to hide its curiosity. Yeah, what do you mean? Naruto asked, agreeing with the beast. The seal cannot be broken. The Shinigami saw to that, Shiori began. But it can be altered so that you can experience sensations of the outside world through Naruto. Shiori saw the near panicked look on Naruto's face and he hurried along. Naruto will still have full control of the body, but you will be able to see, smell, hear, feel and taste everything he does. You will even be able to feel the thrill of combat through him. Naruto seemed to settle down after the reassurance from Shiori, and the Kyuubi was thinking over the proposition. In reality, he knew Shiori was right. A seal from a Shinigami is unbreakable even to him. It was in its best interest to agree. And the added bonus of being able to feel the outside again was too good to pass up. Very well, I shall agree to give him my power. However, his body is too weak as it is to use more than he already does. It must be altered. Altered? What do you mean altered? Naruto asked. Right now your body is about 10 demon from Kyuubi's chakra, Shiori explained. Hence the marks on your cheeks. Naruto reached up and brushed the marks. To receive more, your body must have more demon properties. And I will tell you, no, the process will hurt a lot. That is the price for the power. Naruto thought long and hard about this. On one hand, the idea about being stronger had a certain appeal, but on the other hand, if he did this, he would be closer to what everyone in the village thought of him as. That was when he thought of something Noza said when Yuki and Naruto learned about each other. A person's actions are what shape others' opinions of them, Noza said to the two Jonins. Even the fools who think of you will as people and not monsters if you use the right actions. Use the power you have been given to protect those you love and change what people think. Use the power you have been given to protect those you love. Naruto repeated those words out loud, though softly. He looked up at Shiori and then at Kyuubi. You've been the cause of my pain for too long. Naruto yelled. Now it's time to pay it back, and that will be your chakra. Does that mean you agree? Shiori asked to make sure. Yes, Naruto said. Even if I change physically, I'll still be me, and I'll use that power to protect the ones I love. Very well, Shiori said. Now that you have both agreed, it will take at least 2 days to make all the preparations. You will have to provide the chakra so Naruto-san's body can adapt properly. Great Kyuubi. Very well, Kyuubi said. Shiori put his hands in the tiger seal, saying, Kai. Naruto felt another jolt, and then found himself back in the forest. So I have 2 days off then, Shiori nodded. Good, I'm going to visit that ramen shop I saw. I was surprised you had one in the sanctuary. Oh yes, Shiori said. You'll find their ramen quite good. For some reason no one can explain, all Hanyas like the taste of ramen. It does not matter the kind of Hanyu, we just love the stuff. Well then maybe being more Hanyu won't be so bad, Naruto smiled. Well, I'll see you in a couple of days. 2 days later Naruto arrived at the cave where he met Shiori's grandfather Hogo. After entering the cave opening, Naruto was surprised to see how large the interior was. He was sure he could summon Gamabunta with no problem and the toad would still have plenty of headroom. Welcome Naruto-san, Shiori greeted. The ritual will take place here. The seals have been set up in the center, and all you have to do is lie down. Where are the elders? Naruto asked. We are here, cub. Hogo came into the light. With him were 5 other large animals. A tiger, a salamander, a weasel, a kappa, water sprite, and surprisingly a silver fox with 5 tails. Allow me to introduce Tetsutsum, Iron Claw. The tiger bowed. Akahi, Red Flame. The salamander bowed. Murakamikai, Forest Path, the Weasel bowed, Shizuke, White Rain, the Kappa bowed, and Jin, Silver, the Fox bowed. We will be setting up a barrier to contain the power. Why is that and why you? Naruto asked. We are not sure how much chakra the Kyuubi will give you to perform the transformation, Jin answered. We are here to make sure it does not harm anyone else. And only we are even remotely strong enough. Okay, Naruto said, I just hope none of you get hurt. We thank you for your concern, Cub, Hogo said, but we are not as fragile as humans. Shall we begin, elders? Shiori asked. Yes, Tetsutsu said. Every one of the elders went to their designated area and closed their eyes to concentrate. Just lie down while I add to the seal, Shiori instructed. Naruto obeyed and Shiori lifted up Naruto's shirt. Channel some chakra so I can see the seal. Again Naruto obeyed. Shiori then went to work drawing several interconnecting seals around the out edge of the elephant seals. That just about does it. Now all you have to do is send a message needing the Kyuubi's chakra. It already knows its chakra will be need and how much, so it should be ready. Naruto nodded as Shiori left the center. When he was out of the way, the elders put up the barrier. Alright Kitsune, Naruto thought, now it's your turn. At first nothing happened, then Naruto suddenly felt a larger surge of red chakra than he ever felt before. At first there was just the chakra, then horrible pain came as the sounds of bones cracking began to be heard. Naruto tried to hold in his scream, but it was not use. Naruto's cries of agony filled the chamber as blinding red chakra swirled around, wrapping around the blonde. The elders had to focus as hard as they could to keep the barrier up. This is unbelievable, Hogo said. Then after nearly 15 minutes of screaming and surging chakra, both suddenly stopped. The elders let down the barrier but remained on guard in case something went wrong. Slowly Shiori approached the middle. Naruto? Are you alright? Naruto turned his head slightly, opening his eyes. Shiori noted that they were still the deep blue but had a hint of red around the pupil. Shiori looked at the rest of Naruto's body and found the changes, outwardly at least, to be minimal. He now had claw instead of fingernails and his body looked more toned. When he gave a weak smile before answering, his now sharpened teeth were shown. Yeah, but I'm kind of tired. I think I'll sleep for a couple of days. Without another word, Naruto closed his eyes and fell into a deep sleep. Naruto stood at edge of the sanctuary. There with him were Shiori, Jiraiya, Jin and Hogo. They were there to send Naruto off, for the day had come from him to return to Konoha. After he went through with the ritual, Naruto spent the remaining days learning how to use his new body and power, as well as some jutsus only those from a demonic bloodline could use. He still could not use the jutsus he learned to even near the proficiency of others in the village, but he could do them. During his training he learned that he still retained his human chakra as well as the Kyuubi's. The two chakras were still separate, and always would be, because Naruto and the Kyuubi were two separate souls and chakra was a combination on soul and body energy. His body just made it easier to use the Kyuubi's power. Well, I guess this goodbye, Naruto said. He was clearly saddened by the event because he had come to like this place. But Konoha was his home and always would be. You are always welcome, Cub, Hogo said, but we understand that you wish to return home. Good luck at your exam, Shiori said. And remember, you now have allies with the Kitsunes, regardless of whether they are yokai or animal, Jin said. I won't forget, Naruto said, and thank you for what you have taught me. Enough of the goodbyes, Jiraiya said. We need to get going. You got everything? Yeah, Ero-san and I got everything, Naruto said. He held up his bag and sword. When Jiraiya came back, he had said Noza had sent it to the village. When the village weaponsmith saw the sword, he commented that it was a fine blade but could use some improvements if Naruto was going to use it. Naruto agreed, as long he did not alter it too much. Naruto did not want a gift from his sensei to be changed. The smith said that it was fine and merely made it stronger and sharper with some bits of yokai bones added to the blade. The two waved once more and jumped into the trees and speed off toward Konoha. They were leaving so that Naruto would have 2 days rest before the finals were to start, so he could be in top shape. The journey back was a silent one. Jiraiya was busy thinking up new ideas for his books and Naruto was wondering how people would react to his changes. At a distance only the trained eye could see the differences, but up close even non-shinobi could tell the differences. After the 3 days' journey back, Naruto and Jiraiya were stopped at the gates for an ID check. Security was heavy because of all the lords and guests that were coming for the exam. At the gate Naruto met up with some people that he had not seen for nearly a month: Noza, Yuki, and Sora. The 3 Kirinins were happy to see Blonde even with his changes. He could tell they noticed but made no mention of it. Once inside the gate the 3 Genins began to talk. So you two ready for the finals? That's a rather foolish question to ask, Sora said. Of course we're ready. Noza-sensei has been training us non-stop for the past month. I'd say that Yuki is at least twice as good as she was with her sword before we left. Well, I wouldn't say twice as good, Yuki said, but I do think I'm better than before. What about you, Naruto? Did you practice any kenjutsus? Yeah, I did actually, Naruto said, but since we might be opponents in the finals I won't tell you what they are. You'll just have to wait and see. Hey brat, Jiraiya said, we need to let the old man know we're back. Sure, Ero-san, and Naruto said, I'll be there in a minute. Naruto turned back to his 2 friends. I'll see you later, I've got to go. A short time later the Jiraiya and Naruto entered the Hokage office. When he passed by some of the people in the tower, he noticed them with a bit more fear in their looks than before. Naruto had expected this, but that did not change the fact that it hurt. "Hey Sarutobi-sensei, I brought the brat back." Jiraiya's voice brought Naruto out of his slight daze. When he looked at the Hokage, he noticed a person wearing similar robes to the Hokage, but were trimmed with ocean blue instead of red. And the hat the person wore had the kanji for water instead of fire. That meant that this could only be one person. "Mizuki-sama, why are you here?" The Mizuki chuckled a little. "Why, to see the finals, of course. With you, Neji, Sora and Yuki in the matches, I would not miss this for the world." Over their time going back and forth between the two villages, Naruto and his 5 teammates got to know both the Hokage and Mizuki rather well, and both Kages took a liking to the group as prime examples of what the next generation of shinobi should be. Giving both Kages his patented smile, Naruto said, "Just wait till the matches start, then you'll see just how strong I've gotten." "I am sure you'll put on a good show, Naruto," the Hokage said. "But now we have some things to discuss." "That's fine, I wanted to see Lee anyway," Naruto replied, leaving the office. Making his way to the hospital, Naruto could not help but notice the decorations that were going up for the finals. He knew from past experiences that the Chunin exam was treated as a festival to all those except for those involved in it. This did not bother him. In fact, it gave him inspiration to do more so the audience would get a good show. When Naruto checked in, he immediately went to find Lee. When he mentioned his name, the nurse grumbled about the difficulty of keeping him in bed. On his way to the room, Naruto ran into Shikamaru and asked, "What are you doing here? Are you injured from training of something?" "No, I'm actually here to see Chuji," Shikamaru answered. "He overate too much again." "Oh?" Naruto asked. "What room is he in?" 211, Shikamaru said. "Then I'll visit him too," Naruto said. "It's on the way to Lee's room." Shikamaru shrugged and led the way. Inside Lee's room, he was sleeping peacefully. The nurses had him on sleeping pills to keep him in bed, so he was unaware he had company. There, standing by his head, was the red-headed Suna shinobi, Gaara. Gaara was here to make sure he finished the job he started in the prelims. This Nin had come the closest to actually beating than anyone ever has. And when he was saved by his Jounin sensei, he had been plagued by angry fits of rage ever since. Gaara saw that killing this boy was the only way to justify his existence. The sand then started to come out of his gourd and slowly made its way to Lee's prone form. Gaara was about to command his sand when suddenly he could not move. Then a moment later he felt a sudden impact on his chin, resulting in him spinning around to see Naruto and Shikamaru standing in the room. "Naruto, I felt some of what he does," Shikamaru complained. "Sorry," Naruto said. "Why are in Lee's room?" "To kill him," Gaara answered. "To justify my existence, he must die." "And you think I'm going to let you?" Naruto said, stepping forward. Shikamaru looked back and forth between the two. He noted the changes in Naruto but did not think much of them. After all, Kiba had similar appearances. But now Naruto was confronting the Gaara, a person who talked about killing so causally, kind of made him frating. "I'm not going to let you hurt one of my friends." Gaara began to twitch in frustration as he heard what Naruto proclaimed. After calming down, he said, "I will kill him and you will not stop me." "What makes you say that?" Shikamaru asked. With Gaara bound by his shadow and Naruto there, Gaara could not do much. "Because the monster in me cannot be stopped," Gaara said. "Monster?" Went through both Konoha Nin's minds. "What monster is that?" Shikamaru asked. "Shikaku, the living desert," Gaara answered. "The Achubi, one tail," Naruto thought. "You think you have a monster in you? Well, yours is nothing compared to mine." Naruto bared his teeth to Gaara, showing his sharpened teeth. Gaara was taken back for a second, but his calm face returned. "If you get in my way, I'll kill you too." To emphasize his point, Gaara used his chakra to break the shadow at his feet, and his sand started to enwrap Lee's body. "But first I'll kill him." "No, you won't," Guy said, dispersing the sand. "The finals are just a few days away. I'm sure you'll have plenty to do there." Gaara looked the man protecting Lee and once again became frustrated. After struggling to maintain control for a few seconds, he looked at the other Genins for a moment, and then left the room. "Naruto, it's good to have you back," Guy said. "I'll be sure to get Lee to the stadium to watch you match with Neji. I hope your training went well." Naruto looked at his Konoha sensei and nodded. "Yeah, it was fun. They helped me a lot." "Good, now you should both go home," Guy said. "You need plenty of rest before the finals." Naruto nodded, and Shikamaru just wondered what he just witnessed. He had a feeling that there was more than anyone was letting on. The day of the finals came quickly for everyone. Naruto woke up early that morning and made his way to the arena. Along the way he met Konohamaru and his friends. They volunteered to show Naruto a shortcut, but after 2 wrong turns Naruto said he would just take the long way because he had plenty of time. When he finally arrived at the arena, he was ushered into the combat area. There he greeted the other Konoha Genins and the 2 from Kiri. When he looked around, Naruto noticed that 2 people were missing. "Hey, where is Sasuke and that Oto guy?" "They have not shown up yet," Neji said. "I was looking forward to seeing if the Uchiha had actually become better." "Do you think he could actually win against Gaara?" Naruto asked skeptically. "No," Neji answered. "But he could have improved enough to let us see how strong Gaara has become." Before Naruto could answer, a soft voice greeted the 2 boys. "Hello, Naruto Keikuen and Neji Nizan." The 2 boys turned to see the shy Hyuga heiress come up to them. "Hello, Hinata-sama," Neji answered. Neji still hated the main house, but after some stern talking/beatings from Naruto about not blaming someone for something they had no control over, he became nicer to his cousin. Hey Hinata, Naruto said. Hope you trained a lot because Yuki is going to give you a good fight. I don't think I can beat Hinata began. The only way to know for sure is to give it your best shot, Naruto said before Hinata could get going. Hinata was taken back a little and glanced at Neji, who gave a small nod. Fight with everything you have and then be proud if you win or lose. Because you gave it your all, Hinata. Naruto smiled and Hinata blushed, giving a small nod. Up in the Kage booth, the Hokage, Mizuki, and the Kazekage greeted each other. The Kazekage seemed surprised to see the Mizuki when he first saw him. The matches are about to begin, the Hokage said. But it appears Uchiha Sasuke has not shown up yet. If he does not show up soon, he will be disqualified, the Mizuki said. Perhaps we can postpone that match, the Kazekage suggested. I am curious to see how he will perform against Gaara. Postponing a match and not against the rules, the Hokage mused. In all honesty, he was only considering this to give Konoha time to prepare for the attack that he knew would come. Very well, we shall postpone the match. Down in the combat area, the lead examiner, Ginma, announced, we shall postpone the first match. Would Aburaim, Shino and Yamada Sora please remain? The other genin left the area, leaving only Shino and Sora. Glancing at both combatants to make sure they were ready, Ginma said, begin. The two shinobi jumped back to prepare for the fight. Shino began to let his bugs loose and Sora took out several kunai. I know from Noza sensei that the Aburaim clan can track people with their bugs, so blinding him with mist won't do much good. What I need to do is get those bugs away from him so I can get a clear shot. Sora then took out several small explosive tags and attached them to the kunai. She then threw the kunais at Shino, and as the bugs began to swarm, Sora said, bang, the tags ignited and blasted several of the bugs away from Shino. Shino was surprised by the tactic and prepared to block the incoming blow. He was surprised when it was not long range like suspected but a short range, as Sora came in and hit him with a 3-punch combo to the face. After taking a step back, Shino recovered and blocked the 4th hit. He then grabbed Sora's wrist and twisted and held her in a lock and delivered a punch to her ribs. He then followed up with a knee to her chin while letting go of her, sending her back about a meter. Sora shook of the dizziness and began some hand seals. Sutton, OUQ. Hot water sphere. A small gourd that was in her pouch suddenly exploded and formed a sphere. She grabbed it and hurled it at Shino. Because of the close range, Shino was unable to dodge, and the water sphere hit him on the face. The water was so hot that it scalded him, making him lose sight of his opponent. She is clever, Shino thought, and she knows my bugs do not like hot water. Still, even without seeing where his opponent went, Shino could tell because he placed a female bug on her when he grabbed her. Turning in her direction, he said, you cannot hide from my bugs, they will have you in a matter of seconds. Sora looked around from her hiding spot as some of the bushes. She saw several begin to swarm around her. Damn, I can't let them touch me. But it was too late, as Sora felt hundreds of bugs begin to climb up on her leg. Damn, I know these bugs will suck me dry unless he tells them not to. Sighing, she thought, I guess I have no choice. I give up, she announced. As soon as she said that, the bugs began to retreat. Even at that little exposure, she was feeling drained. Several people around the stadium had very similar reactions. While the fight was relatively short, it was a good fight. The girl knew what her opponent was capable of and devised some good tactics to get around his defense, a Chunin said. Yeah, the Chunin next to him said, if it was any one of the clan besides the heir, I have no doubt she would have won. A couple of rose up, some of Shino's fellow rookies said. I'm not surprised Shino won, Shin said. His scores were just below Sasuke's. Ino nodded. Yeah, I'll admit he is pretty good, but so was Sora. In the waiting area, Neji, Naruto and Yuki were making comments too. Noza sensei told us about the Aburaim clan, but I guess Sora was not good enough to beat him. Shino is the heir to the Aburaim clan, Neji said. His skills are second only to his father. Sora put up a good fight even though the odds were against her. Yes, Shino always was one of the strongest in my class, Naruto said. Well, it looks like it's our turn, Neji. Neji turned to Naruto. You better be prepared to lose. Back down in the area, Ginma called. Would Hyuga, Neji and Uzumaki Naruto please come down? The two genins were already on their way, so it was only a few seconds after they were called they arrived. In the Kage booth, the Hokage and Mizuki were anticipating this match. This should be a good fight, the Hokage said. Why do you say that, Hokage-sama? The Kazekage asked. The two have been on the same rotating team for the past year or so, the Mizuki answered. They know each other's fighting style. Plus, the Hyuga is said to be the most talented in many years, and Uzumaki was trained by one of the 7 swordsmen. I see, the Kazekage answered. This should be interesting. In the audience, a man with long black hair and white eyes was sitting with a girl that was obviously his daughter. Watch closely, Hanabi, the man said. Your cousin Neji is more talented than your sister as well as you. Yes, Otosan, Hanabi said. Ginma saw that the two genins were ready even before they were called down, so he immediately called, begin. The two, instead of jumping back like the others, charged forward and engaged in taijutsu. This surprised everyone in there, as it was well known that Jukin was the strongest taijutsu in the village. Once again, to everyone's surprise, Naruto was matching Neji move per move. While Neji was using his glancing blows filled with chakra and moving in a graceful, controlled manner in one spot, Naruto was moving like a wild animal, slashing with his finger/claws, constantly moving around Neji, forcing him to constantly readjust his footing. To those watching, it was like seeing a tiger and crane battle each other out, completely opposite and completely neutral. Finally, after several blows where Naruto would slash and Neji would slap and jab with his figures, Neji landed a solid hit to Naruto's stomach, forcing him back. There the two paused and smiled at each other. Up in the stands, the father and daughter were watching curiously. Otosan? What fighting style is the other boy using? Hanabi asked. It looks like it counters Jukin. I am not sure, Hanabi, the father answered. It looks like a variation of Tora Yashiki, tiger style. If it is, then what he is using is a counter to ours, because Jukin is a variation of Tsuru Yashiki, crane style. I wonder where he learned it. The father activated his Byakugan and looked at Naruto and noticed his chakra patterns were a little different from a normal human's, but too much different to warrant concern of the seal breaking. He then shifted his gaze to Neji and for the first time noticed his Byakugan is not activated. Why does he hesitate? Without it, his strikes are not as effective. In the center of the fighting area, Neji addressed Naruto. Your personal taijutsu has improved, Naruto. I am glad for the challenge. You've gotten better yourself, Neji, Naruto said. Your strikes weren't as accurate without the Byakugan the last time we sparred. Genma, hearing this, was somewhat surprised to hear that Neji had not used the Byakugan on Naruto, and was wondering why. You know, Neji, I think we need to step this up a bit. Kagebushin no Jutsu. A dozen clones formed around Neji, taking Naruto's personal stance. Neji smirked. He was expecting this, as Naruto liked using Kagebushin to confuse his enemy. Even with the Byakugan, Neji could not tell which Naruto was the real one. So he could only destroy them until he hit the real one. Two of the Narutos attacked, and Neji quickly blocked the attack and countered by thrusting his fingers into their necks. The two disappeared in a cloud of smoke, indicating they were not the real ones. Just as the two were destroyed, another came, and the same result. This continued for a few seconds until two of the Narutos snuck up on Neji and held him in place. The real Naruto was behind Neji and took the opportunity to use Ramen Oro. Hearing the jutsu and knowing how much it hurt, Neji thought, no choice. He then forced chakra out of all his chakra holes and spun, destroying the clones and blocking the lighting attack. Up in the stands, Tenten smiled in satisfaction because she helped Neji perfect this jutsu. What are you going to do, no Naruto, she said. Neji can block any of you attacks. In another section, the father and daughter gasped. Otosan, that was. Yes, my Kaiten, the father said. He then activated his Byakugan so he would not miss anything else. The only way you can do that is if you use your Byakugan, Neji, Naruto said. Yes, Neji admitted, but I have learned to activate it and deactivate it before you counter it. So what are you going to do? This, Naruto reached to his sword. I was not planning on using his against you, Neji, but you give me no choice. He brought his sword up over his head and channeled chakra into it. He then brought it down and yelled, Omega Breaker. A large burst of chakra shot out of the sword, carving a path a meter wide towards Neji. Neji, having no choice, spun again and blocked the attack. Naruto anticipated this and already began his hand seals. Chakra pulse. Neji and the father and stands were both blinded by the sudden flash. Naruto, seeing an opening, charged forward and kicked Neji into the air. Neji, after feeling himself get kicked into the air, waited for Naruto to get closer. When he was close enough, Neji activated his Byakugan, and in mid-air performed Hakurokuji Yanshu. After the attack, Naruto could not recover and slammed into the ground. You have fought well, Naruto, Neji said, but you cannot continue with all your chakra holes closed. I guess you lose this fight. How can he perform that in mid-air? Hanabi asked. He is the genius of our clan, the father said. He was very proud of his nephew for this. Don't be so sure, Neji, Naruto said, struggling to stand. When he was up, he brought his hands into a tiger seal and concentrated on Kyuubi's chakra. After a few seconds, Naruto felt the power come. Soon his whole body began to radiate the red chakra. The adults watching were very surprised by the sudden emergence of the Kyuubi's chakra, but none more so than one in the Kage box. What surprised many even more was that Naruto was not overwhelmed by the chakra. In fact, he was in perfect control. Alright, Neji, let's finish this. He then charged the Hyuga faster than Neji could react, and started to strike him, repeatedly slashing with his claws, creating several cuts in him. Neji stumbled back, unable back. He was breathing hard and had blood staining several parts of his clothes. Looks like you win, Naruto. Neji then passed out and fell to the ground. As soon as he hit the ground, the medics rushed to him and carried him off for treatment. Needless to say, Naruto was declared the winner. There will be a half-hour break before the next matches begin, Genma announced. The repair crew needed to clean some of the mess from this fight, as many of the jutsus used caused a lot of collateral damage. Once again, several people had comments about the match. Yes, that was an interesting match, the Kazekage said. That was an interesting kenjutsu, the Mizuki said. Quite powerful as well. Naruto certainly gives people a show, the Hokage said. In the audience, who knew Naruto was so powerful? Ino said. Maybe we were underestimating him all those years, Sakura said. But Sasuke-kun will still beat him though. I'm not so sure, Sakura, Ino said. Naruto sure does have interesting abilities. Both Sakura and Shin were stunned to hear Ino question Sasuke's victory. I hope Neji Nizen in okay, Hinata thought I should go see him. She went to leave the area and looked back to and smiled. I'm glad Naruto-kun has become so strong. Hinata made her way to the medical area and entered to check on Neji. When she entered, she saw he was awake and covered with bandages. Hinata-sama, you should not be here, you will miss you March. They called a 30-minute break to fix the damage to the fighting area. Hinata answered. I guess we did cause a lot of damage, Neji smiled. The door opened behind Hinata and Neji's smile faded. Hinata turned around and gasped when she saw her father there. Hinata, leave me with Neji. Why yes Otosan, Hinata said. When they were alone, Neji said, what do you wish to see me for, Hayashi-sama? Hayashi reached into his robe and pulled out an old-looking letter. I have been holding this until I thought you were ready to read this. Hayashi handed Neji the letter. When Neji looked at the letter, he saw his name on it written in his father's handwriting. What is this? Neji thought, opening the letter, and began to read. My son Neji, I do not know how long I have been gone since you will read this. But I just wanted to tell you the truth of what happened the night I died. That night I was ordered to die for Hayashi for the killing of the Kumo ambassador as a member of the branch house. I refused. I did not want to die as a member of the branch house for the main house that I hated. I was not willing to die like that. I was willing to die for my brother, however. At the end I was able to choose how I died and altered my destiny. I wish you to break free of your destiny and live free, Neji. Love, Hisashi, your father? Neji looked up from the letter and saw Hayashi down in the kneeling position. Neji, I have no right to ask for forgiveness for being responsible for your father's death. I am at your mercy. Neji looked down at the Hyuga head with for the first time in a long time with soft eyes. Please stand up, Neji said, uncle. Hayashi was shocked at what Neji called him. He had not called him that for a very long time. Thank you for the letter. Hayashi stood up. You should rest, Neji. When you are well we will talk more. Neji nodded as Hayashi left. When Hayashi left the room he ran into his eldest daughter. Hinata, what are you doing here? Hinata did not respond and just looked down. You have a match soon. You should go to it. Why yes Otosan, Hinata said. She slowly backed away and headed to the arena. And Hinata, Hayashi said, do well, and fight with pride. Hinata looked back and saw Hayashi smile at her. Yes Otosan, Hinata did not stutter and smiled, I shall. She smiled and ran off for her match. Hinata walked back to the fighter waiting area. She was feeling less nervous than before. She wanted to do well against her opponent Yuki, and not just for herself but also for the faith her cousin had just shown. As she came to the area she found her sensei Kurenai waiting for her. Hinata, I came to tell you to watch out for your opponent's sword. She has been trained by one of the 7 swordsmen of Kiri. I understand, Kurenai-sensei, Hinata said. Down in the arena Genma was watching the clock. The repair crew had finished, and now he was just waiting for the intermission to end. A couple of minutes later he called, would Hyuga, Hinata and Kawa Yuki report to the arena? Walking down the stairs to the arena Yuki ran into Noza. Noza-sensei, did you see Naruto and Neji's match? Yes I did, Noza said. But the question is, did you watch, and did you learn any weakness from the Byakugan might have? I did, and I have some ideas, Yuki answered. Then you should be fine, Noza said. Yuki happily nodded and made her way down the stairs. In the arena the fighter met facing off about 3 meters apart. Genma saw they were ready. Begin, he said stepping back. Yuki started things off with, Mizubushin no Justu. 3 water clones appeared beside Yuki. The source of the water was various water packs she had with her. Yuki and her clones drew her swords and held them at the ready stance. Hinata activated her Byakugan as soon as Yuki made the Mizubushins. It looks like 3 of the 4 are only 1/10 the strength of the 4th, Hinata whispered. That means the 4th one is the real Yuki. Hinata then went into Jukin stance and dashed toward her opponent. One of the 3 clones moved to intercept Hinata and slashed at head. Hinata ducked out of the way and delivered an open palm strike to the clone's chest, causing it to disperse into a puddle. Yuki had used one of her clones to distract Hinata while she prepared a kenjutsu that Noza showed her during their training, Kiri Kenjutsu Biredo Kurikizu. Miss Sword Skill Blind Slash. The clones and Yuki then disappeared from sight, attacked Hinata in succession. The kenjutsu was designed to strike with bushins at multiple angles continuously until one landed a slash. Yuki knew that against the Byakugan it would not be very effective, but she was mostly using it to test Hinata's defenses. The first 3 attacks misses as Hinata bent her body to avoid the slashes as they came into her field of vision. The 4th, however, was able to get into Hinata's blind spot and slash across her back. When she felt the slash, Hinata quickly spun around and was able to hit Yuki in the arm with her index and middle finger. The unfortunate part was that she hit the arm not holding the sword. At least her sword swings will be weaker, and her jutsus will be harder to use, Hinata thought. She dropped back into Jukin stance and tried to think of a way to counterattack. She knows how to face against the Byakugan because she knows Neji Nisan. I guess I'll have to use another way. Hinata then did 8 hand seals saying, Kokoro Moro, Mind Haze, no Jutsu. Hinata used a genjutsu that Kurenai taught her not too long ago that made it difficult for a person to concentrate. In the stands, Hayashi was coming back from talking with Neji and saw Hinata use a genjutsu. When he sat down, Hanabi asked, why is Onsen using a genjutsu? Hinata is not as skilled with Jukin as you or Neji, Hayashi said. She has to rely on other skills to make up for it. Yuki could feel her concentration slipping as Hinata completed the jutsu. She found it so hard to concentrate that she could not longer maintain control of the Mizubushians, and they fell apart. That was when she saw Hinata move in to strike. She tried to slash out with her sword, but because of the genjutsu her reaction time was slowed and missed Hinata. Hinata came in and dodged the slow slash. When she was within range she performed several hits with open palm strikes. When she finished, Hinata scored 32 hits all over Yuki's upper body. Her final hit was a double palm strike to the stomach and chest, sending Yuki back several yards. I still can't close that many chakra holes, but she should be hurt by now, Hinata thought. I should be able to finish her with the next attack. You have improved, Hinata, Hayashi thought. You were even able to close some of the chakra holes. What did she do, Otosan? Hanabi asked. She used the genjutsu to distract her opponent enough to make a clean strike, Hayashi said. Hinata got around her weakness and has improved her fighting by adding other elements to it. Hanabi looked at her father and noticed a small smile on his face. Seeing this, she too smiled when she looked back to the fight. She may not be as good as Neji, but that still hurts, Yuki thought. I need to end this quickly. This next jutsu will use a lot of my chakra left, but I've got to use it. Yuki then did several hand seals very quickly. When she was done, she said, Suiton Suryuden no Jutsu. The water from the Mizubushians that had not evaporated yet began to rise and condense in the form of a dragon. After several seconds, the dragon was completed and struck out at Hinata. Hinata was unable to dodge the dragon and was hit by it directly and slammed into the wall. After a few seconds, Hinata began to stand up uneasily. Before she could stand up completely, she felt a blade to her neck and Yuki standing to her side telling her to give up. I will not give up, Hinata whispered. Using all her will, Hinata thrust one hand to her side and the other to the sword. The sword was knocked out of Yuki's hand while Yuki was knocked back by the palm strike. This is it, Hinata thought. She then stepped up to Yuki's body and hit her as many times as she could. Yuki once again stumbled back from the strikes. This time, however, she could not stay conscious and fell to the ground. At the same time, Hinata had also collapsed to the ground from the pain of being slammed into the wall by the water dragon. Genma, after examining both Yuki and Hinata, declared, This match is a draw. Hayashi looked down at his second daughter. Hinata did well, she has improved. Hanabi looked up and asked, Will I have to fight her again? Hayashi shook his head. No, that only divides the clan. We will work on strengthening clan bonds from now on, starting with your sister and cousin. Hanabi smiled openly. She never liked being forced to fight her sister, and her father's statement just ended that. In the waiting area, Naruto watched as Hinata and Yuki were taken away by the medics. Hinata seems to have gotten better. She's more confident too, Shikamaru said. I think that was what held her back the most. Once Hinata and Yuki were moved out of the arena, Genma called the next match. Temari no Sabaku and Nara Shikamaru come to the arena. Temari smirked at the thought of fighting such a weak opponent, and glided down on her fan. Shikamaru may not move. It's too troublesome to fight a girl, he complained. I'll just quit, that way I won't have to do anything. Naruto, hearing this, thought, No, you don't. He then pushed Shikamaru over the railing, sending him into the arena. Go get her, Shikamaru, Naruto called. Shikamaru looked up at the blonde genin that kicked him down into the arena fighting area, silently cursing him. Well, I guess it doesn't matter where I give up as long as I give up, he thought. He was about to surrender when Temari fully opened her fan. Kamaitachi no Jutsu, Temari called as she swung her fan in Shikamaru. The wind coming of her fan was at gale force level and shredded everything in its path. The unfortunate part was that Shikamaru was not one of them. The laziest person in all of Konoha had used the first wind burst to propel him to the wall, where he could quickly get behind a tree and avoided the rest of the attack. This sure likes to run away, Temari thought. She was about to attack again when a long dark shadow shot out of the bushes. Thinking quickly, she jumped back and to avoid the shadow. Seeing the shadow stop and not come any farther than retract back, Temari marked the distance the shadow traveled. All long as I stay this far away, he can't get me. Watching from the stand, Sakura asked, Does he always run away and hide like that? Yeah, he does, Ino said. He is the biggest and laziest coward I have ever seen. You don't really know him at all, Choji said. Choji? Ino asked. When did you get here? Just after Naruto and Neji's match, the chubby genin answered. Just watch, Shikamaru will surprise you. Inside the bushes, Shikamaru watched Temari. In terms of power, he was the weakest person here, so he had to rely solely on his wits. I can't get here the cage main right now. With limited options, Shikamaru did what he always did when he needed to solve a problem. He brought his hands together in concentration and began to think of a plan. What is that hand seal? Karina asked. That's not a hand seal, Asuma said. That's what he does when he needs to concentrate it. Believe it or not, Shikamaru is a genius at strategy. I have yet to beat him in any strategy game. Just wait, you'll be surprised. Temari, watching this, was confused. She was sure Shikamaru only had his shadow to use as a weapon, but she was smart enough not to underestimate her opponent. Bringing her fan up again, Temari was about to swing when Shikamaru suddenly opened his eyes. Suddenly his shadow shot towards her once again at a rapid pace. She smirked, thinking it was safe, but became surprised when it went past her mark on the ground. She quickly jumped back and saw the shadow now extended an extra meter from her mark. Looking around, she saw that the shadow from the wall had extended, so he can use other shadows to extend his, Temari thought. That means I need to finish this before he can reach all the way across the arena. She brought up her fan, Kamaitachi no Jutsu. Temari sent another gale force wind at Shikamaru. This time Shikamaru was propped up against the wall when the wind hit him. He took the damage, but it was minimal because he was not propelled against anything. Just a little more, Shikamaru thought. There. He shot his shadow out, but it was not in Temari's direction, instead it was along the wall. Temari was confused as she saw the shadow move off to the side. She and everyone were shocked when the shadow connected with the head examiner. What's he doing? Many were so distracted that they did not notice a second shadow come from Shikamaru. The shadow connected with Temari, and she froze in shock and binding at the feeling. He Kageme no Jutsu successful, Shikamaru smiled. He released the examiner, who had a smirk on his face at the sight. Temari had no control as she felt her body move toward Shikamaru. When they were less than a meter apart, she was forced to raise her hand. He's going to make me give up. I can't believe I'm going to lose to him. Once again, to everyone's surprise, Shikamaru announced, I give up. He disengaged the shadow and lazily walked back out of the arena. While he walked, the judges would make comments about the battle. Interesting strategy. Distract your opponent by going after the least likely target, then go for the real one. And if this had been a real mission, the girl would have been open to attack from another person. He showed misdirection, essential for infiltrations and escapes, as well as the willingness to stop a mission that he couldn't win. He never really had the chakra to fight for long periods of time, but he used it wisely to stop her. Ino was being held back by Choji, Sakura, and Shin to keep her from killing Shikamaru. How could that lazy coward just give up when he had her? Hold her tighter, Shin. Sakura stressed. I can't believe she's this strong. Damn, what's she been eating? And where can I get some? Choji asked. When Shikamaru got back to the fighters' waiting area, Naruto walked right up to him. Why did you give up? You had her. Troublesome, Shikamaru said. Maybe, but I barely had the chakra to continue, much less beat guys like you, Shino and Gaara. I guess I'll let it slide then, Naruto said. Common, we need to go. Sasuke and Gaara's match should begin soon. In the Kage booth, the three Kages were debating on how to proceed. The time for the Sasuke and Gaara's match was about to start. The problem was that Sasuke had yet to show up. We have given Uchiha Sasuke more time than should have been given. He should be disqualified, the Mizuki said. Surely we can wait a few more minutes, the Kazekage argued. Many people are eager to watch this fight. After all, both are heavy favorites to win the finals. Be that as it may, Kazekage-sama, Mizuki said. Do not forget the true purpose of this event. It is to select among those genin that would make reliable Chunin. As you know, many missions have strict time constraints, and if one cannot even show up on time for their own match, then how reliable can they to finish a mission on time? The Hokage was listening to his counterpart's arguments, and thought for a moment. I am sure you wish to see how well Gaara would do against the last of the Uchiha clan, Kazekage-sama. But Mizuki-sama is correct. Uchiha Sasuke will be disqualified from the finals. The Kazekage seemed to become infuriated by this. Do not worry. I am sure your son will face a worthy opponent in the later rounds. The Kazekage calmed a bit. Yes, I am sure of that. Very well, I concede to your judgment. A few moments later, a Chunin was whispering into Genma's ear. He gave a confused glance and asked, Are you sure? The Chunin nodded. As you wish. He then began to speak louder. Due to the absentee of Uchiha Sasuke, the match between Gaara no Sabaku and Uchiha Sasuke has been cancelled. Gaara no Sabaku was advanced and Uchiha Sasuke will be disqualified. There were several objections, especially from two girls from the west side of the arena shouting, You can't do that to Sasuke Kyuin. But the decision from the Kages was final and no one could override that decision. Shino looked over to Gaara, and while his face was completely impassive, his mind was one of concern. His bugs had been acting very strange every Gaara had come near or used his power. Every insect told him to avoid Gaara at all costs. Shino took a glance at the audience to Kurenai was sitting. He knew she would be disappointed, but every part of him told him this was the best course of action. I give up. Another combatant has withdrawn from the matches, Genma continued after the murmurs died down. As a result, the match between Gaara no Sabaku and Uzumaki Naruto will proceed. In the fighter area, Gaara seemed rather irritated by the announcement that he would not fight Sasuke. He seemed to be struggling with some kind of pain, but when looked at Naruto's face, he came back in control. Yes, his blood will do, Gaara thought. He is strong enough for me to define my existence. Gaara then disappeared into a swirl of sand and reappeared in the arena. Naruto had watched as Gaara disappeared and was about to go down the stairs when a familiar voice stopped him. I'm sorry I missed your first match, Naruto-kun. Naruto turned to see Lee and Guy coming up the entrance stairs. Lee, Guy-sensei, Naruto greeted. Don't worry about it, you're here for the best match, me against Gaara. And don't worry, Lee, I'll get him back for you. Naruto! Guy yelled, let your burning passion. I got to go, Naruto interrupted. YOSH, Naruto is so passionate. Lee yelled. Lee knew that Lee and Guy were going to continue for quite a while, so he slipped away from while their attention was diverted. As he walked down to the arena, Naruto reached out to the QB. I'm probably going to need your chakra for this. You'll have enough your body and use, the QB answered. I cannot have that weakling Shikaku winning. Do not let him fully transform, You do not have resources to fight Shikaku at his full size. You're right, Naruto confessed, I haven't done Gamabunta's test yet. And he would be the only one that could take on Shikaku. Naruto ended the link between him and Kyuubi as he entered came out. As Naruto walked out, the crowd was a mix of cheers and boos. Cheers from those that believed that this would be a good fight and boos from those that wanted to see the last Uchiha fight. Naruto heard no of it, however. His entire focus was on the person just opposite of him. Genma looked back and forth between the two combatants. He could tell that they were going to start fighting whether or not he started the match in a few seconds. So he simply raised then dropped his hand saying, "Begin." The two fighters did nothing at first, just started at each other. It was an intense moment broken when Gaara's sand started to come out of his gourd. The sand started to collect around him, and then some collected into his hand, Suna Shuriken. 4 small clumps of sand shot out toward Naruto taking the shape of shuriken. Naruto made his hand seal saying, "Kigebushin no Jutsu," and burst of smoke later, and suddenly 2 Naruto dodged the projectiles running in the opposite direction. One Naruto threw some kunai at Gaara only to have them blocked by Gaara's sand. The other Naruto moved in closer and was about to strike when another Gaara materialized out of sand and blocked Naruto's path. The Sunabushin struck out at the Naruto in front of it, but that Naruto jumped back before he could get hit. The Naruto the Bushin was facing quickly recovered, and after the sound of bone cracking used his now sharpened and longer claws to rip through the Bushin's neck. When the Bushin was gone, Naruto attacked the real Gaara. While his Sunabushin was fighting one Naruto, the real Gaara was fighting another. This Naruto was moving very fast and was moving very similar to the way Naruto was fighting Neji. None of the slashes from Naruto's claws were penetrating the Suna no Tate, shield of sand, but with every blow that was made it seemed that Naruto was getting faster. When Gaara felt his Sunabushin become destroyed and the Suna no Tate come up to block his back, he saw the Naruto in front of him disappear from sight. The next thing Gaara knew, he was flying back from a blow that felt it went from his abdomen up to his chin. The Naruto stood side by side for a minute, then one disappeared. When the real Naruto turned, he saw the results of his upward slash from his claws, as there were 4 long slash marks running the length of Gaara's upper body. Now before his sand has a chance to gather, Naruto thought. Raime Oru, Nibai, double lighting breaker. After the first bolt of lighting shot towards Gaara, Naruto spun and sent another right after it. Gaara was just standing up as the 2 bolts of lighting hit, creating a large blast sending smoke and sand several meters. Those that knew what Raime Oru was were beyond shocked to see Naruto do a version that performed the jutsu twice in a row. For the reason Raime Oru was forbidden was that not only was the jutsu incredibly powerful and drained chakra quickly, it temporarily paralyzed the shinobi's hands, and if shinobi were to use it more than once in a row it could damage their nerves. From everyone observed, Naruto was stiffly flexing his hand as smoke rose from it, but the stiffness was quickly fading away. Naruto was waiting for the smoke to clear. He knew even if both bolts of lighting hit, Gaara would still be able to fight. The Suna no Yoroi would protect Gaara from the majority of the damage. When there was only a little smoke and sand left, a huge limb shot out and rammed into Naruto, sending him into the wall. When Naruto stood up, he saw Gaara was now half covered in sand, and the sand in the shape of an animal. "You've actually hurt me, Uzumaki Naruto," Gaara screeched. His voice sounded like a mix of his normally deep flat voice and a high-pitched wail. "For this I will kill you." Around the stadium many people were surprised and scared at what Gaara had done. Those that knew what Naruto was, and hated him, and now saw what Gaara was, were very afraid. The idea of 2 demons fighting inside the village sent shivers down their spine. Those that did not know what Naruto was, were frightened for his safety. Then there were those that knew what Naruto was and like him were very curious, though still cautious, about what he would do. And then there were those that knew what Gaara was and did not know what Naruto was, were worried that Gaara would go on a rampage before the scheduled attack was to begin. "Guy-sensei," Lee said, "we must get Naruto out of there. Gaara is not human, we must stop the match." "No, Lee," Guy said. "Naruto should be able to handle this." Lee and Neji, whom had combat to watch Naruto's fight, looked at their sensei in a confused manner. Guy, not wanting to lie to them but not being able to tell them the complete truth, only told them a little. When Naruto was away for a month, he was being trained by Jiraiya-sama, one of the Konoha Sanins. Everyone who was within hearing distance stared down at the blonde with awe. "So Naruto will win this?" Lee said, very excited. "We'll see, Lee," Guy said. One of the Hokage's bodyguards stooped down to whisper in his ear, "Hokage-sama, should we stop the fight?" "No," the Hokage answered. "Let us see what Naruto can do." Noza was watching from his spot next to Yuki, who had recovered from her fight with Hinata. "Gaara is like us," Yuki said. "Apparently so," Noza said. "But do not worry about Naruto. We both know he has not used his power yet either." Yuki nodded and redirected her gaze back to the fight. "Gaara is a monster," Shikamaru said. Ino, Choji, Sakura and Shin nodded in agreement. Shikamaru had joined with his team and friends after his fight with Temari to watch the rest of the finals. Now, watching what Gaara did made him remember what happened in Lee's hospital room just a few days ago. "How can Naruto fight something like that?" Sakura asked. Sakura would be the first to admit that she did not like Naruto that much, but for him to face something the likes of Gaara. Something that she doubted that Sasuke could even beat was not a pleasant thought. I don't think it's a matter of fighting anymore, Shikamaru said. What do you mean? Ino said. I think it's a matter of survival, Shikamaru answered. Just like with Lee back in the prelims. Then why hasn't anyone stopped them like Gai-sensei did with Lee? Shin asked. I don't know, Shikamaru thought. Naruto was aching all over. Damn, that hurts, he thought. And he is only partially transformed. Naruto struggled to stand and then noticed something creeping up his leg. Shit, the sand. Gaara, still partially transformed, was commanding the sand to enwrap Naruto with Sabaka Q Desert Coffin. The sand was quickly covering the majority of Naruto's body. Everyone could see him struggling to free himself, but all his efforts were not working. Gaara had to smile at this because he was about to kill the first and only person who ever hurt him, physically anyway. As the sand now covered the last of Naruto's hair, Gaara was about to finish him off with Sabaka Soso, Desert Graveyard. Naruto felt the pressure of the sand increasing from suffocating to crushing. Having no choice, Naruto reached down and started to pull out Kyuubi's power. As he felt the chakra come forth, he screamed/roared as he pushed the sand away, aarrrggggg. Bursting out of the sand, everyone was shocked to hear the roar/scream, and even more shocked to see Naruto now have claw-like hands, even thicker whisker marks, and most surprisingly furious red eyes. Gaara, seeing Naruto's own transformation, was shocked, and feeling the level of chakra he was emitting, knew he had to call on more power. So he gathered some more sand and started to further push his transformation. You must stop him before he completes his transformation, the Kyuubi demanded. Your body cannot handle enough of my power to fight Shikaku alone. I know, Naruto thought. He took his sword off his back and began to channel chakra into it. I have to finish this now. Running at top speed, Naruto cleared the distance between himself and Gaara in a blink of an eye. When he was less than a meter away, he leapt into the air. Gaara, who was now covered in sand and had 2 forearms and Shikaku's single tail, watched as Naruto jumped. He knew Naruto was going to strike at him and made an attempt to stop, or at least slow Naruto down, so he could finish his transformation. Mugun Sajin Diatapa, Wind Type, Great Infinite Sandblast Breakthrough. Gaara breathed and spewed a large amount of sand at Naruto. Naruto saw the sand coming towards him, but he was already committed to his kenjutsu. He knew it would finish this fight, one way or another. Omega Buster. Naruto brought his sword in a downward swing as he began to fall. The blade cut through the sand blast, and Naruto continued to accelerate towards Gaara at an increasing rate, until finally the sword connected with Gaara's transformed head, slamming it into the ground, breaking the sand and sending flying everywhere. All around the stadium, everyone was silent. From the other genin were in the finals to the Kages to the audience. All waited for the outcome of the fight. Inside the cloud of sand, Gaara was struggling to move, could not believe he was hit so hard just a few seconds ago. Through the cloud he could see a figure leaning on a sword not far from him. What, how are you so strong? I'm strong because of my friends, Naruto panted. I told you I have a monster too. We're the same. Gaara looked at Naruto's eyes that had changed back to blue with a red ring. They showed sadness and understanding. We have the same eyes, Gaara thought. Your friends? They saved me from myself and my own hell, Naruto explained. They took away my loneliness that I never thought would end. Friends can take away loneliness that doesn't end, were Gaara's last thoughts before he passed out. When the cloud of sand finally cleared, those watching in complete silence saw the unconscious Gaara and kneeling Naruto. It looked as though Naruto was on the verge of collapse, but he began to struggle to stand. Slowly Naruto, using his sword for support, reached standing position. Genma, seeing this, declared, Uzumaki Naruto, winner. Hearing this, the audience let out a collected breath and then began to cheer the victor with all their might. Even those that did not like Naruto were joining in at the sight of such a spectacular match. Naruto tried to raise his hand to wave at the audience, but as soon as he did, he began to fall. He was surprised to feel that he did not hit the ground. When he looked back, he saw Noza and Guy were the ones that caught him. Great fight, Naruto, Noza complimented. I think you overdid it a little though. Thanks, Noza-sensei, Naruto said. After reaching into his pouch and taking out a soldier pill, Naruto ate it, and was able to stand on his own. After collecting himself, Naruto started to wave to the crowd, making them cheer even louder. As Temari came down to check on Gaara, she looked at her brother, then at Naruto, and back at Gaara. She finally turned to face Genma and said, there is no way I'm fighting him. Genma smirked at the statement. Can't really blame her, he thought. Holding up his hand to call attention to himself, Genma waited for the cheers to die down enough for him to speak. After about 30 seconds, it was quite enough. Due to Temari no Sabaku's unwillingness to fight in the next match, I hereby declare Uzumaki Naruto the winner of the Chunin exam finals. The announcement made the crowd erupt once again in cheers. They were on their feet clapping at his victory. The cheering continued until a large gust of wind appeared in the middle of the area. The gust of wind kicked up more dust, causing some to groan at the amount of dust the exam finals was producing. When the dust cleared, there were 2 more people in the area, one a tall silver-haired Jounin and the other a young black-haired genin. Once again everyone became silent at the late arrival of the last Uchiha. Kakashi, looking around, noticed all the stares and finally focused on Guy, Noza, and Naruto. Guy, did we miss something? Yes, my eternal rival, Guy said. You missed the finals, eh? Kakashi wondered, the finals are over, then who won? He then looked down at Naruto and then over to Gaara, who was being carried away on a stretcher. Sasuke, following his Jounin sensei's gaze, became angry. I think you have figured it out, Noza said. Naruto here is the winner of the finals. I demand to fight this idiot. Sasuke yelled. You are not in any place to demand anything, Uchiha Sasuke, Genma said. You were disqualified after failing to show up on time, even after we gave you until the end of all the opening matches. Sasuke shot Kakashi a piercing glare, then focused it on Naruto. I will fight you. He made an attempt to move, but Kakashi restrained him. Looking down, Kakashi whispered, attacking someone outside the finals is forbidden. It will get you arrested and confined for several months. Sasuke reluctantly stopped his struggles. Up in the audience, everyone heard Sasuke's demand. There were several murmurs from several people like the idea, and people began to shout, let them fight. We want to see a match between Uzumaki and Uchiha. After the shouts, it seemed the entire audience was demanding for one's last match. Soon a mantra was being chanted calling, one more, one more, one more. In the Kage booth, the three were talking about the audience's demands. Perhaps we should let them. This time it was the Mizuki that said this. It would be an exhibition match that has no bearing on the outcome of the exam. The Mizuki was interested to see how far Naruto had truly come. If he could fight another powerful opponent, then it would be incredible to see. Why not let them fight? The Kazekage agreed. Young Uzumaki has put on quite a show up till now. I am interested to see what he can do. Silently he added, very interested. The Hokage was agreeing with the other Kages. He was the most impressed with Naruto's growth, and like anyone who saw some good fights, wanted to see another. If Naruto feels he is up to the challenge, then I will not object. He then signaled a Chunin to deliver the message. In the arena, the Chunin appeared and repeated what he was told. Genma looked at Naruto and asked, do you feel you can have one more match? Naruto looked at Genma, then at Sasuke, to get a chance to kick his butt. You better believe I'll have one more go. There will be a special exhibition match between Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke, Genma announced. To give Uzumaki a chance to rest, there will be a 20-minute break. The crowd roared with approval at the upcoming fight, one that no one wanted to predict the outcome. Even those that were adamantly pro-Sasuke were and against Naruto were reluctant. Up in the Kage booth, the Kazekage was thinking. I still need Sasuke-kun to realize my dream. But the Kyuubi brat has shown some interesting abilities. He will make a good experimental subject. Without Gaara the attack will fail, and with the Mizuki here I cannot attack Sarutobi-sensei. But the attack will provide a good distraction to get Sasuke-kun. He then motioned for one of his shinobi and whispered, tell Kabuto to give the signal to attack during the match. Yes, Orochimaru-sama, the shinobi whispered back. After the shinobi left, the Hokage asked, is something the matter, Kazekage-sama? I am merely sending one of my shinobi to check on Gaara, Orochimaru answered. Now shall we enjoy another match that promises to be quite eventful? The Kages nodded and returned their gazes to the arena. Sasuke had never left the arena since the announcement for the break had been made. He was too angry to move. He had spent the last month learning and perfecting Kakashi's most powerful jutsu. One that he knew he could beat Gaara with, and when he finally mastered it, and he and Kakashi set off to return to Konoha, he found out that not only had he been disqualified, he also found out that a person that was so far beneath him over a year ago, and now continuously overshadowing him, had done it once again by beating the others that were favored to win. No one can be stronger than me. I have to be the strongest to kill him. Sasuke looked down at his bandaged arm with the buckled strap on it. I'll use it to defeat that idiot instead. If he could beat them, then that just means they were weaker than everyone thought. Sasuke smirked at the thought of ending Naruto's victory and humiliating him in front of everyone. Sasuke may not admit it, even to himself, but he liked the praise and glory everyone gave him and did not like any of it being taken away. Guy and Noza were currently looking at Naruto. They were making sure that Naruto was actually capable of fighting. I have to admit, Noza said, I'm rather envious with your quick healing. Other than being low on chakra, you seem better than you should be. Thanks, Noza-sensei, Naruto said, but those soldier pills the medics gave me are really helping me recover my chakra. You won't be even near 100 by the time the match starts, Guy said. You were almost completely drained after fighting Gaara. But Guy stepped back into his signature pose. Noza and Naruto pulled out their earplugs. Your youthful flame will carry you into victory. Outside the medic room, Lee heard Guy's yell. If it were not for Neji holding Lee back, the injured Genin would have ripped the door open to join his idol. Lee let Noza-sensei and Guy-sensei finish checking Naruto out.